Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Gaara takes Fem Naruto to Suna. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. In huge body, property of a giant fox was being kept down by a long series of shining chains, the beast's 9 tails trying to move free from the bindings while the monster kept glaring at the red-haired woman responsible of its actual capture. In a moment of weakness of said woman, thing that had the chains lose enough strength to let it move free, the beast moved one of its massive clawed hands to pierce a young infant with its sharp nail. No! With a synchronized yell both the woman and her blonde lover intercepted the attack, bravely taking the full fury of the swipe as the claw mercilessly pierced both their bodies. A subtle growl as their hands moved to grab said claw, further stopping its motion towards the baby, their baby. You always have to steal my scene. Kushina-chan, the blonde man said with a tired voice, a serene smile on his face even with a gaping hole in his stomach. A mommy always protects her son. Can't have you take all the glory as good parent. Minato, the woman, Kushina, answered with a little giggle, focused only on protecting her precious son. It's time. I need to use the Shikifujin now that the Kyuubi is restrained. We need to tell to little Naruto what we have as our last words. Now or never, Minato said as the chakra chains of Kushina forced the claw back and out of their bodies. Naruto. My baby, my wonderful baby. Kushina said with tears streaming down her cheeks, happy that the sleeping boy was not forced to see his mommy dying in such a way. My son. I am sorry for what I am about to do. Minato started, forcing himself to be strong enough for both parents. Remember that your mommy will always. Kushina said. Oh fuck. Another dramatic farewell. A nasal-sounding male voice slurred in annoyance, interrupting the two adults. Just die already. He then yelled with a groan. Shut up, fucker. At least those people die with a little dignity, and it's so romantic having them giving a last farewell to their newborn baby. When was the last time you did something romantic instead? I'll tell you when. Never. A female voice answered. Romantic? I can do romantic. What about this? The man said in challenge. Humping a tree is not romantic, you asshole. Stop thinking using your cock for a minute. The woman answered, her answer followed by the sound of something being slapped hard. Both humans and giant rampaging fox couldn't help but sweat drop at the sudden interruption and ruin of the dramatic moment. The mysterious duo finally showed itself few moments later, still arguing and with the woman glaring at the man in annoyance. The woman was fairly young with a deathly pale complexion, brown hair and emerald green eyes. She had her face painted to represent a human skull. She was wearing a black dress with an ample skirt. The man instead was wearing a top hat, a black tuxedo, dinner jacket, dark glasses and cotton plugs in his nostrils. His skin was as black as the night and just like the woman, his face was painted in white as to show his skull. Happily smoking a cigar he neared Minato and Kushina, lowering his sunglasses to better watch the two and playfully blowing smoke on the blonde man's face, chuckling at Minato's coughing fit. Kinda painful, isn't it? He asked grinning, pointing at the two parents' wounds with a bony finger. What do you think? Minato said clutching his still bleeding stomach, surprised he was still alive. Ignore the bastard, he is full of rum up to his ears. I am starting to think that he directly has that shit in his veins instead of blood, the woman said huffing. And that, my friend, is why men shouldn't ever get married. Why risking bringing a bitch home forever when you can just do it for a night? The man answered. Yeah, I love you too. The woman said waving him off, a strange glass of brown liquid appearing in her hands as she sat near the baby, and habanero placidly floating in her drink. Who are you? Kushina asked. Me? Oh sweetie, you should know me. I am a dear colleague of someone you people know very well, he said grinning, taking off his hat to bow in a theatrical fashion. Who? Minato asked, covering his wife even in his wounded state. He is here already. Come out, idiot. We know you are here, the woman said with a barking yell. The baby, Naruto, was now fully awake but curiously he was looking at the scene in interest instead of crying. Last time I checked, this was my territory by the way, a dark, cold voice said as a new figure appeared in the clearing. With an imposing height easily towering over the others, sporting a long mane of white hair and purple skin stood the Shinigami itself, the demonic face distorted into a bored expression. So what? Can't another psychopomp pay a visit to another? the man said, shrugging, uncaring, taking a long draw from his cigar. Psycho what? Kushina asked, curious. Spirits, deities, angels tasked by helping souls to reach the afterlife, dear, the woman answered. Samadhi. The Shinigami said, rubbing his eyes, groaning. It's Baron Samadhi. Baron, like those classy stuck-up nobles, the man said, crossing his arms. Why are you here? Your wife Bridget was supposed to keep you on a thigh leash and stop this from happening again, the Shinigami said, glaring at him. Why I am here? Simple, by just using my amazing and awesome powers over voodoo and death I sensed the birth of a necromancer. Unfortunately in your area, dirty lucky bastard. But then I thought, know what? Fuck the rules. And here I am, aren't you happy to see me? Baron Samadhi slurred out, grinning. And you followed him? The death god asked to the woman. You know the bastard, once he decides to follow one of his brain farts he doesn't stop until he reaches his goal. Maman Bridget said, emptying the glass in one go. Pieces of munched habanero flying between words. What do you want to do with the human baby? The Shinigami asked, pointing at the blonde infant now back into sleeping. Knowing you people, you will either kill him or seal his powers, or whatever term you jerks use, I think I will train him into fully use them instead. Baron Samadhi answered. And why, if I can ask? The death god asked with a raised eyebrow. Why you fucked two twins at the same time? Because you can. You know that the last one was that Hellsky girl, and she was a poor thing unable to even speak without causing disasters. At least with me he will have enough control to not turn people to ashes by sneezing, the man answered. You know the rules, we decided to stop necromancers from appearing so to stop any one of them from trying to create a mess with the natural order of things, the Shinigami said. Really? And you will now tell me that it always worked? Maman Bridget asked, smirking. Yes, it was over several thousands of millennia since the last one was born here, and with that the equilibrium was and is still preserved and safe, the entity answered in pride. And that thing I heard the others talk about? That Edo thing? Samadhi asked, grinning. The Edo Tensai Jutsu created by Tobarama-sama? What do you mean? Kushina asked, curious. It still brings back dead people from the grave, so? What about it? Baron Samadhi asked again. That is confidential. I am not supposed to answer that question. The Shinigami said, looking down, shocking Minato and Kushina by sounding ashamed at the question. Aha, I knew it. You wankers missed some details and fucked up. It means I can train the boy. Samadhi said in triumph. Fine, but if something happened I won't be held responsible. It's your problem now. The Shinigami roared in rage. Cool, man, no problem, we will teach him the good stuff, don't worry, the Baron said, nodding. Wait, can I help too? Please, he is my baby, I don't want to lose him. Kushina pleaded, bowing. The hell, why not? I don't trust this idiot to change some diapers or teaching him manners, so why shouldn't you come? Both of you can help him training, Bridget said, shrugging. I don't have bad manners. Buurp. Samadhi answered, whining, before burping, loudly. Why are you helping us? I still don't understand, Minato asked with narrowed eyes. Fuck, you are one of those? You people are always asking for reasons, why you do this? Why you do that? Why I can't find my wallet and panties? I want to do this because your kid is the first necromancer I see in over 600,000 years and it is so fucking funny teaching one. He gets to mess with the dead and death in general, shit. As long as he doesn't proclaim himself a god, even the big boss up here. And the one down there too. We'll let him do as he please since it would be in his rights as a necromancer to do so thanks to his link with the underworld. Even I have to follow some rules while he will be free to fuck the system in any way he likes. I mean, how cool is that? At least I will have some fun watching him going around screwing with life, death and destiny as a whole. Baron Samadhi answered in an half-whining tone. Ah, that's it? Minato said, sweat dropping. Were you expecting some philosophical bullshit? Sorry, but I am not drunk enough for that, the spirit answered. Just go you two. This night is already a mess, so let's cut this short before the old monkey too join us. Last thing I want is Sarutobi Hiruzen's speech about valor and what's right, the Shinigami said, groaning. Aye, don't get your pants in a twist, shinny pussy. I'll take care of that, Maman Bridget said, walking towards the Kyuubi, moving in hand on the huge fox head. What are you doing? Kushina asked. Creating a pet for the boy, but first I will need to reduce the bastard to something smaller, the woman answered as the Kyuubi's skin started rotting and melting. WRAH. Letting out a mighty roar of pain, the Kyuubi started to slowly melt, leaving behind a massive skeleton once everything was done. "On off you go," Bridget chirped happily as the bones too turned to dust. "She guards over the graveyards. She usually helped me with making the dead rot so to stop people from summoning them as zombies. She learned it pretty well. But it's not nice when she does that to your balls." "Personal experience," Samadhi said as he raised an hand, summoning a bluish flame in it. "This is our dear Furball's soul. For now I will keep it. Then we will have our dear Naruto here infuse it into a wonderful plush doll of a nine-tailed fox," Samadhi said, smirking, trapping the soul into a glass sphere he took from a pocket of his pants. "Can't wait to see that happen," Minato said, grinning. "Okay, now that you all had your fun, I suggest you to start walking. You can't stay in Konoha. People will ask questions and keep you under surveillance or even try who knows what to study your son's powers. I suggest Suna since it's near and surrounded by desert, isolated from any praying eye," the Shinigami said, sighing. "What? I won't leave my village behind," Minato said in anger. "Then choose, fucker. Your son's future or the village. Tell them you sealed the beast in the boy, hoping that they won't hate him for that, or leave to have a somehow happy life with your family," Bridget said, crossing her arms. "Konoha is our home. We can't let them behind. We will explain them. We will make them understand how Naruto will be able to be their hero and—" Minato said before Kushina's punch connected with the back of his neck, knocking him down unconscious. "Screw the village. I already lost Uzu because of politics, greed and thirst of power. I won't sacrifice my son to Konoha for the same reasons. We will drag the baka to Suna, tie him up and then force him to understand, and if it doesn't work then I don't know," Kushina said, determined. "Once ready, the boy will be able to take possession of your souls, having you act as his personal guards. In the jackass case here, Naruto will just force him into it. He won't have a choice," Samadhi answered. "Good. As you may have noticed already, you two are still alive. I refused to take your souls out of your bodies. Since apparently you two will become Naruto-san's possession, I'll leave the choice to have you two die to Samadhi here. Once ready, the boy will be able to claim you," the Shinigami said, giving two scrolls with Minato and Kushina's names on them to Bridget. "Cover those holes. Being unable to die doesn't mean you will regenerate," the woman said, pointing at the hole in Kushina's stomach. "Okay, let's move." After the Kyuubi's disappearance, Hiruzen must have gotten suspicious about our absence. He may be here any minute, Kushina said, grabbing Naruto in her arms, looking around in apprehension. "Better move then, Samadhi. Grab the asshole and let's go. We have a village to join," Maman Bridget said, glaring at her husband. "Why it's always me the one to do the shittiest job? The bastard weighs a fucking ton," Samadhi said, groaning as he hoisted Minato on his shoulder, whining as the blonde's blood stained his dress. "I am a lady, you fucker," the woman answered, growling. "A wonderful one at that," the man said, rolling his eyes. "Sucks to be you," the Shinigami said, grinning. "Remember Edo Tensei Jutsu," Samadhi said, smirking evilly as the two spirits, the undead parents and the baby, disappeared. "Fuck you," the death god roared in rage before he too disappeared, grumbling about smart-ass spirits. It would be only a matter of minutes before an old man in a black armor reached the scene, followed by a dozen of masked shinobi. "There is no one here," one of the Anbu said, looking around. "Something happened. There isn't even a drop of blood here. Someone must have cleaned everything to cover his traces," the old man, Hiruzen Sarutobi, said with narrowed eyes. "What do you mean, Sarutobi-sama?" another Anbu asked. "I sensed Minato's chakra signature fading into nothingness few minutes ago after the Kyuubi's presence disappearance. He must have used that sealing technique. But what happened then?" the old man wondered. Maybe someone from another village stole Yondaime-sama's body and the Kyuubi's vessel," one of the masked shinobi said. "I fear that it may be a possibility, since we were occupied with helping the wounded back in the village. It would have been easy coming close to the baby to kidnap him since Minato was dead and the fox sealed away. We must find them," Hiruzen said gravely. "A baby? A little kid was used for the sealing? The Yondaime's son maybe?" an Anbu asked. "No, Minato had not a son. Probably it was an orphan from the village. He wouldn't have put that burden on a kid knowing how his family could have been a target," Sarutobi answered. "I can't let anyone know about Naruto's heritage," His being a Jinchuriki will put him under enough danger without his parents' enemies coming after him too, the old man thought in sadness. We will find him, Sarutobi-sama. That boy, it's Konoha's property after all. The captain said with the men behind him nodding at his words. Not a property. Naruto is our asset. Minato left him to us in the hope that he will one day protect our village with all the power at his disposal no matter what, the old man answered. Hi. The Anbu answered before splitting in multiple directions to find any trace of the boy. I will find him, Minato. I know why you used your son. I know you wished him to be our guardian and protector. Even knowing that the villagers would have been hostile to him. You knew that the boy would have been happy to protect us even if shunned or ignored. Can't expect anything less from your son. I will do my best to protect him and at the same time teaching him how to be humble and selfless. Hiruzen though while moving back towards Konoha to organize more squads to track down the blonde demon vessel. Suna. Sometime later, isolated area near the village's graveyard. The village of Sunagakure no Sato, surrounded by tall walls of natural rock in the middle of the hottest desert of the elemental nations. Infamous for the high mortality rate thanks to the vivid hallucinations the inhumanly high temperatures create during the day, earning it the nickname of the Genjutsu Desert, and the freezing cold nights soon following once the sun set. The village itself was simple in terms of lifestyle, being without luscious forests like Konoha or an ample sea to use for fishing like mist or the minor wave had the villagers decide to optimize their living conditions when talking about water and food, especially since the majority came from external villages and their merchants. Luckily their territory was rich of minerals and ores, making exchanges easy. In a rather hidden area of the tall walls of rock surrounding the village was a system of caves, one of them guarded by an immense torii gate, showing that it was the entrance to a temple. Following a long stair down to the depths of the village and under the solid rock stood a vast area used for the village's graveyard where the warriors and civilians of Suna could find their final rest. Invisible to the eyes of the humans, a secondary cave was opened immediately after the torii gate, making the road to the graveyard split in two with only the left one being normally visible. While the villagers of Suna were calmly passing near the second entrance so to visit their lost loved ones, a smirking Bridget watched as their powers stopped them from noticing the changing in the whole structure. Behind her a big circular cave that was slowly being filled with construction material by a panting, and cursing, Baron Samedi. Perfect. The idiots won't see us if we don't let them. How are things going back there? She asked without looking. Fan-fucking-tastic, thank you. Samedi answered growling. Don't be such a prude, it was your idea to have my Naru-chan set shop here after all. Kushina answered while making faces to the baby, making him giggle and clapping his little hands. Graffer forgar forth. Minato muttered from his mouth gag, glaring at the red-haired woman. Shut up, Kushina answered kicking him between the legs, making Naruto giggle louder. Ooh, Naru-chan likes when mommy hurt his idiot daddy? Should mommy do it again? She asked cooing. Nuu. Minato moaned shaking his head in the negative. Silence, you bastards, I am working here, Samedi said as he summoned some souls to help him build. While the whining bitch build our new house, shop. Let's decide how things will work, okay. Bridget said joining the scene. Can I teach Naruto how to be a ninja? I want him to know the shinobi arts other than how to be a necromancer, Kushina asked. I think we can do that. Once he is good enough with his powers we will focus on the ninja training. I chose this place because being in a cemetery will benefit him, making him almost immortal above other things so you won't have too much problems in learning since the cemetery itself will protect and heal him, Bridget answered. Sounds good to me, what about him? Kushina said happily, before groaning and pointing at Minato. We will make him understand one way or another, the female spirit said smirking, making the blonde man sweat bullets and whine. Let's start then, I am getting fucking bored at playing architect. Samedi said. As you wish, dear, Bridget said laughing. 10 years later, Suna, Park, Naruto, age 10. Even if in the middle of a desert, Suna village had several parks for kids to play in and adults to use when relaxing, even if now the place was completely devoid of people as the last kids were running away scared from a young red-haired girl. The girl in question was plenty in the tomboy territory, thanks to the short red hair and the plain brown clothes making her look like a boy. The death glare she was sending to the running kids wasn't helping either. The curious thing was the big gourd on her back from which sand was flowing out as if alive, the kanji for love, was on her eyebrow in a blood-red color. You know, being violent won't make them become friendly, a boy said nearing her. Shut up or I'll kill you, the girl answered glaring at the young blonde in the black and white jumpsuit. That would be unwise. Let's say completely stupid, Naruto answered grinning. Sabaku no Susu, the girl answered surrounding the boy in sand and constricting his body until it exploded, making blood pool under the sand cocoon. Leave me alone, I don't need the others. I only need mother inside of me, she said as she started walking away. As I said, stupid, completely stupid, a distorted voice said behind her. What? For the first time in her life the girl was surprised. What, never seen a soul before? The blue flame said, showing a face resembling the one of the kid, twisted in a fox-like grin. Who are you? The girl demanded. I am complicated, just call me Naruto, now come with me, while I repair my body we will talk. Can you two help me please? Kinda lost my arms here, Naruto said as two robed figures with a skull mask appeared in the park, one lifting the crushed body and the other hugging the spiritual sphere, flame and glaring at the girl. Was that necessary? The woman asked with a venom-coated voice, making the girl actually look down like a scolded child. Sorry, she muttered, surprising herself. Come on, it's not the first time this happens, come to my office, Naruto said cheerfully. Yes, the girl said following the group towards the cemetery. Suna's graveyard, the shop near the underworld, sometime later. The shop near the underworld was a decrepit-looking two-story house with black walls and obscured windows, a spiked metallic door the only entrance. The first floor inside was occupied by the shop itself, a single ample room whose walls were covered in shelves littered by glasses of strange liquids, jars with mummified animals or body parts, mostly eyes or hands, floating in a strange green liquid, cards of different kind, broken bones, some of which resembling human ones, broken weapons, dead flowers, faded pictures, necklaces and other mementos, instruments of any kind covered in dust and or rust and books with ruined leather covers, those somehow whispering to whoever came too close to them. From the ceiling several amulets were dangling on thin threads, subtly tingling in case of the ones with little bells on them. All souvenirs from precedent necromancers that Naruto received as heritage once the construction was completed. The whole local was scarcely illuminated by few red candles, making the already creepy-looking paintings, masks and even shrunken heads on the walls gain an even more distorted appearance. In the far side stood an ample black desk covered in tarots surrounding a crystal sphere near several mirrors and astronomical maps of planets and stars. And huge paintings showing what looked like human faces twisted in continued agony towering over the room with tanks filled with poisonous frogs, snakes and spiders covering the remaining space of the wall behind the desk. The girl couldn't help but cough a little at the strong smell of incense permeating the air mixed at the dust from the objects in display. Put me on the altar, I will talk to her while we wait, Naruto said as the masked Minato moved away a black curtain to show an hidden altar where he deposited the crushed body, the wounds already healing thanks to its being in the cemetery's territory. Here you go, ready to heal, Minato said before returning to the main room, sitting on a chair and flipping open a book in his lap. I see dead people. Moron's Guide to Raise and Train Necromancers, easy version, was the title. So? Any reason why you killed me? Naruto asked, the ghostly facsimile of his face smiling at her from behind the desk. I thought you were going to attack or insult me, the girl answered, still wondering about what was happening. Nope, not going to happen, but you are troubled, care to tell me why? The ghost asked curious. What do you want? You must be that strange man they say talks to the dead, the village talk of nothing else, the young redhead said narrowing her eyes. It was true. Everything started barely a year before. Random people were contacted by a tall man saying that his apprentice would have been able to resolve their problems for the right price. It was mostly the most desperate people being contacted, making their own curiosity the catalyst of their accepting, but still the rumors started spreading like a wildfire. No matter the version, the story had always few key details. A young kid with a dark robe making his recognition impossible would offer counselings, predictions, remove curses, selling talismans or even let you speak to your dead loved ones. For the right price of course. What was asked for that usually varying from people to people, may it be just money, food or even jutsus in case of shinobi, but there were times more personal things were asked as payment like photos, mementos of said dead one and even blood and memories somehow extracted from the client's mind. The people going there were only unanimous on the location, barely after the Torii gate of the graveyard and to the right, but no matter how many people went there uninvited, no matter how many Anbu and Genjutsu specialists were used or jutsus and summons unleashed, the shop itself was nowhere to be found, as if appearing only when a client was brought there by the two strange skull-masked shinobi in Anbu gear. Even the Kazekage himself was unable to locate the store, making the rumors about the owner being a demon from hell seems even more plausible. The truth was that the whole cave and shop were hidden in plain sight, residing in the limbo realm between the land of living and the underworld. Hence the shop's name, making Samadhi and Naruto the only ones able to invite people in, even leaving out the escort and admitting only the intended customer. Naruto didn't mind those rumors since those people were chosen by Baron Samadhi as a final test for Naruto's training in necromancy before leaving the final tuning to both Kushina and a still grumbling Minato so that the alcoholic spirit could return to his job as spirit's guide to the underworld, making Naruto the only one able to admit people in the shop, luckily leaving behind few manuals to help the two parents now faithful bodyguards of the boy. Yes, I am that man people talk about, but I prefer the name Baron Shi, thank you. So, what makes you act so blood-lusted? Naruto asked. Shi, death. Why do you care? I don't trust you, the girl said. It has something to do with that spirit sealed inside you? The boy asked, making sand flew through him. What do you know about mother? The girl asked, glaring at him, hating that by now she couldn't kill him like the voice in her head demanded. For starter, I can tell you that it's not your mother since that soul is not of the humankind. And then that if you don't stop I'll be forced to become violent, Naruto answered, narrowing his eyes. Violent? No one can touch me. Mother protects me, she answered. We'll see, the little ghost said, shooting forward, entering the girl's body from her mouth, phasing through the shield of sand she summoned. Gawk. Trashing in her seat, the girl grabbed a fistful of her hair and roared in pain, apparently fighting against herself. Blue War. After few long moments she managed to puke out the ghost that calmly returned to his seat. You sure have a crazy tenant, but as you saw it is not your mother, Naruto said calmly, looking at his body to see that it was now fully healed. Who are you? What's that thing inside me? Where is my mother? The girl asked with rising voice before yelling in rage, the sand from her gourd moving in a mini storm. Just a moment, the little flame said, re-entering the blonde-haired body, opening a pair of deep blue eyes to look at her with a smile. Better. Now I can help you, Naruto said happily, sitting on his seat with an actual body. Answer my questions then, the girl yelled in rage. Fine, stop screaming and I will help you. First things first, let's talk with your real mother, the boy said, glaring at her. I don't want to speak to her. I know she hates me, my very same uncle told me as he too tried to kill me last year. She answered. Sorry if I don't believe you, since you have a rampaging beast sealed in you I tend to believe you were manipulated into believing it, Naruto said, shaking his head. Then I will show you. What do you want in exchange for making me talk to her and my uncle? The girl asked. I'll tell you later, now shut up and let me focus, speaking with the dead is not simple for me. I am still training, Naruto answered, taking 5 candles and positioning them on a portion of the desk he freed from any other object. Lights off and let's start, he said as the other lights in the room died up, leaving only the candles on the desk as source of light. I need to speak with this girl's mother, is she there? Naruto asked to the room as his eyes dulled in color. Who is speaking? A voice demanded as the candle's flames turned blue. I am Baron Shi, necromancer and master of the dark arts, the one who speaks to the dead, and I need to talk to 2 souls in your realm. A young woman and a man recently deceased, respectively the mother and uncle of the girl in front of me, Naruto answered with a monotone voice. Baron Shi. Your request had been granted. Those souls will now approach you. The mother will be first, the voice said as a distant echo. Who's there? Sahara? Is that you? A female voice asked from the flames. That's my name. Why are you doing this? Why tricking me? Everyone knows who I am. The girl, Sahara, said in anger. I admit that you are pretty famous here, so knowing your name is not impossible. But I am not trying to trick you, Naruto answered. Then how do I know that this is not a lie? She demanded. You can't, but you can trust me and accept that your mother is here, right? Kurora-san? the boy asked. My wonderful baby. What happened to you? What did your father do to you? The woman asked with a sad voice. He helped me understand that I can only love myself, not expecting others to do the same. Uncle confirmed it before I killed him, Sahara answered. I was forced to. Your father tasked me with that attack to see how you would have reacted. Before dying I saw Shukaku's eyes on you. That's why I told you that my sister hated you. I was referring to the biju sealed inside your body. I believed that the demon had took over completely. I am sorry, a male voice said between sobs. You are Yoshimaru, right? What happened during the sealing? Naruto asked. Shukaku was sealed in her while still inside Kurora's body. Her husband wanted the girl to be the ultimate weapon of Suna. When he was born prematurely, some complications caused my sister's death, but still he didn't care, focused on turning Sahara in his weapon. When it was clear that the girl was unable to fully control Shukaku without giving in to rage, I was ordered to attack her as a last test to see how she would react. Yoshimaru answered sighing. Since then I was continually attacked by our shinobi, Sahara said looking down. He considers you a failing, so he wishes to kill you and seal the biju into another vessel and try again. I am so sorry, my dear. If only I didn't die, Kurora said sadly. Do you really hate me? Do you really hated giving birth to me? She asked sighing. No. As with your sisters, I was so happy to know that I was expecting you. The few instants I could hold you in my arms were the happiest of my life. The woman answered. Mother, Sahara said sobbing, is there any way for you to bring me back? Please, I will do anything. Kurora asked pleadingly. I may be able to summon your soul from the grave, but I will have to bind it to something to make it last forever, Naruto answered. Baron Shi-sama. Can Shukaku's seal work for that? I am an human soul. I shouldn't overpower the seal with my presence, the woman asked. And the biju? It may try to reject or even absorb you, the boy said. I know her. I will be able to stay in the seal and stop her from influencing my little girl, making her able to sleep pacifically, Kurora answered in determination. Her? Shukaku is a woman? Naruto asked disbelievingly. She is the only girl of the 9 biju. The rest of us are all males. A whispering voice coming from a cat-sized plush doll of the Kyuubi said, fixing the two kids with its unblinking gaze. Thank you for the explanation. Well, I think we can start then. Ready, Kurora-san? Naruto said. Yes, I am ready. Baron Shi-sama. Kurora said happily. Wait, what do you want in payment? Sahara asked looking at him. What do I want in exchange? I know. You will be my friend. Naruto said smiling wide. What? The girl said with wide eyes. I see you need some good friends, and I need some too myself. The few I had up until now were just spies people paid to force me to do as they said. The punishment for the people paying them to spy on me wasn't nice, Naruto said pointing with his thumb at the painting with the screaming faces. Those are, Sahara said paling. Trapped souls. The men that tried to kidnap me using my so-called friends as a bait to capture me and use Baron Shi's powers for their goals. I don't appreciate that kind of people. I have powers over death. I can't let people play with those powers. The kids I just scared with some smoke before erasing their and their families' memories of me being Baron Shi. Luckily no one else knows this, the boy answered. They tried that with me too, gaining my trust and then betray me. I won't do that to you, friends. Sahara said with narrowed eyes, presenting her hand. Nice to meet you then, Sahara-chan. Naruto said happily, shaking her hand. So, let's move your mother here with you, the boy said making the girl nod eagerly. Few minutes later, outside the graveyard. Where is she? The guards supposed to follow her didn't see her disappearing, a girl with 4 ponytails said looking around. As if you can trust those bakas, Temari, another girl with war paint said looking around. Shut up, Kankuo. It's already terrible that she disappeared without your comments. Temari answered. I can't see her, Asuna Enbu said looking around, annoyed at being forced to look for Sahara. Then just keep looking, Kankuo demanded. Temari Nisan, the red-haired girl said coming out from the cave to the graveyard. Sahara, Temari yelled running towards her. Wait, didn't she just call you Nisan? Kankuo said in surprise. Temari Nisan. Kankuo Nisan. I am sorry. For everything, the girl said looking down. Wait, that's not normal. Is she really Sahara? Kankuo asked to an Anbu. It's her, no henge, genjutsu or masks of any sort. the Anbu answered surprised. He and the others sending several pulses of chakra in a wide range to disrupt whatever could have been the cause of the change. I am sorry, the girl said again. It's all okay, I am here, Temari said, further surprising everyone by coming closer and hugging the girl. Let's go back home and forget whatever happened, Kankuo offered, making the Anbu nod in acceptance. Better deny everything so to not have problems should the girl go psycho again, they thought. What happened? Temari asked whispering as the three sisters were now walking next to each other with Sahara in the middle. I have a new friend. A real one that is not scared of me and will even protect me, the girl answered. Really? Kankuo asked surprised. Yes, I promised that I will go back to talk with him some more, Sahara answered. Why you were in the graveyard? He was there to visit. Temari asked. He knows a lot of people there, she said cryptically. Whatever, can we meet him? The war-painted girl asked curious. I don't know. I will ask him next time, she answered. I think that he shouldn't have problems with us. We will treat your friend well, I promise, Temari said, happy that her little sister was acting more open with her. And if we are lucky, he will be your boyfriend soon, right? Sahara-chan? Karora said from the seal, Shukaku nodding with her. Don't say those things, mother. Sahara thought in answer, relieved that the sand she used to cover her body like an armor prevented the others from seeing the faint red of her blush. Back into the shop. Good, now that this is over we can focus on your training. Starting from today we will alternate necromancy training with ninja training. You are now at the age in which kids join the academy, so we need to start as well, Kushina said taking off her robes to show a black Anbu attire. As you wish, Kasen, just have patience until I find a way for undead to have and use chakra too, Naruto said happily. Don't worry, I know you can do it, and by the way, I am so proud of you for helping that girl, Naru-chan, the woman said crushing the boy in a thigh hug. I just did what I think was right, he answered. And the fact she was pretty helped, right? My baby boy's first girlfriend. I am so happy. Kushina cooed in happiness. Moom. Naruto screamed in answer, face red in embarrassment. I still say that we should have remained in Konoha. There are plenty of good sensei there, Minato said whining. Just shut up and help me, Kushina groaned slapping the man on the back of his neck. Fine, but I think that people would have treated him like an hero, Minato answered sighing. You wanted to seal the Kyuubi, beast that had just killed innocents in hundreds, inside a baby and knowing Hiruzen I bet that he would have kept our identities as his parents a secret since Iwa is still out for your blood, and without the notion that he is our son. Do you still think that they would have seen him as a hero? Or maybe he would have lived his life as a pariah, ignored by everyone? Kushina asked with narrowed eyes. Minato didn't answer, looking away in sadness as the words had clearly struck the core of the problem. Sorry, the blonde man finally said. I thought so, just remember that next time you whine about leaving Konoha. We are talking about our son here, he must come first. Village of Konoha comprised, Kushina said ending the conversation. I am sorry, Minato said again sighing. Then show me that you are and help me. The woman said. I will, he answered with determination. Suna, 6 years later. Shop near the underworld. Naruto, age 16. Once his abilities in the necromancy arts reached what could have been called a good level, the shop was officially open to the public, making several red candles appear in front of the doors of the citizens of Suna, one for each villager, accompanied by a ticket listing the rules of the shop. The shop near the underworld, main rules. At night the candles all over the village will light up, showing that Baron Shi will receive whoever wished to meet him. Please follow the rules here listed. 1. When requesting a meeting with Baron Shi, please blow over the fire while thinking about your request. If the candles stop burning, the request is accepted. Please wait for one of us to pick you up and accompany you to the shop. 2. Only one client per request. Should your request require someone accompanying you, you both will be held responsible for the actions of each. The one accompanying can't make requests of any kind. 3. If more than one meeting is accepted, the one deemed more important will be called first. If you see the flame turn blue, it means another request was accepted before yours. The flame will die down by itself when your turn comes. Please don't leave the candle to not lose your priority. 4. No weapons. Weapons are not accepted if not as a form of payment. You can leave your weapons outside the shop with one of our guards. Should one or more being requested as payment, they will be brought inside to act as payment. weapons will never be returned until the client is outside the shop. Any failure to comply or indirect attack towards Baron Shi and/or his guards will result in severe punishment for the attacking client and near family members, friends. 5. Payment. Baron Shi's services have a price. By requesting his help you automatically agree to pay in any way he will see fit. The payment will be decided before the start of the meeting with Baron Shi. That will be the last occasion for denying the form of payment and renounce to make the actual request. In that case please feel free to ask for another meeting later as the payment change depending on the request and following the owner's desires at the moment said request is made. Failure to pay the due price will result in severe punishment. Other, minor, rules will be listed during the meetings, please follow them. From now on, the shop near the underworld is open, thank you for your attention. Even if someone tried to throw away the candles, those always returned shortly after, but thanks to the rumors about the place and his owner choosing himself who to serve, a lot of people was instead secretly eager to finally meet him and ask for favors. The great majority were asking for his help when illnesses believed impossible to cure were diagnosed, adding to the mysterious Baron Shi figure the name of Man of Miracles, as he seemed able to tear away the ill men from the jaws of death itself. At the same time, the few fools trying to force him into doing as they said or to not pay after having their selfish desires become reality simply disappeared without trace, leaving behind a list of their sins and the actual request that had them disappear. More often than not, wishes of dark nature like submitting a man, woman to their bidding or assassinate innocents for reasons of envy, money and/or lust. The fact that his predictions about the future were also precise and always true helped, resulting in the more superstitious merchants and shinobi making a point of paying him a visit before an important mission, trading affair, with people coming from even other villages so to speak with the enigmatic figure, using a special white candle positioned in the main square of the village that apparently only people from outside Suna could use, following the same rules of course. Voices had that even Kages and Daimyos hidden under superpowered henges were secretly asking for meetings with the man. But that was never confirmed since there weren't enough details to confirm or deny it. Now Naruto was calmly sitting at his desk, waiting for Sahara to come visit since she asked for a meeting herself, the black candle in her possession, and that only she could use, making her able to enter the shop whenever she wanted as VIP guest. She is late, the Kyuubi doll said in annoyance as the boy kept petting him. She will come, you know her, nothing can stop her when she sets her mind on something, Naruto answered. She is such a nice girl. A wonderful girlfriend, Kushina said from her seat, eyes not moving from the game of chess she was having with Minato. A pity she is such a crude yandere, Minato said shaking his head, groaning as Kushina removed his bishop from the game. A little knocking at the door signaled that someone was waiting outside to enter. Veronica, please go greet our guest, Naruto ordered getting up. The plush doll now perched on his shoulder and the robe's hood down, showing his face and deadly pale complexion. Yes, Master Shi, the young girl said smiling. She was one of the experiments Samadhi suggested him to do in order to understand how souls works, by creating a new soul using his power of soul manipulation to create her. Veronica was a fairly young girl with short dark blue hair and violet eyes, across her face an X-shaped stitching showing she was the result of his operations as her whole body too was covered in stitches of various shapes and length. The living puppet, as Naruto called her, having summoned some dead master puppeteers and surgeons to guide his body into building hers, was wearing a wide black coat with white lining, black boots reaching her knees, white gloves and a black fedora hat, two fluffy pompons on the front of her coat that were now bouncing around as she walked. Even if her appearance and face suggested a placid, benevolent image, she was instead his trusted bodyguard, following him around when outside the shop while Minato and Kushina followed secretly from the shadows, the three undead finally able to use and store chakra thanks to batteries, created from the hearts of some clients that tried to chicken out from their payment. Even if created by using human body parts, Veronica was equipped with a huge guillotine blade hidden in her right arm and a sharp sword in her left. The gloves she usually wore covering the needles on the ends of her fingertips allowing her to inject viruses into her targets, a deadly human doll. Naruto, are you here? Sahara asked ignoring the girl, sparing her just a glare before moving towards the boy. Always for you, Sahara-chan, the blonde boy answered. Good, she said, moving his seat back so to sit in his lap with both arms around his torso and her head on his shoulder. That was the normal way Sabaku no Sahara the almost yandere, vessel of Shukaku the terribly yandere, usually sat when visiting the blonde, her sand forming a circle around them as to define the maximum distance everyone should keep from him. Father wants to meet you for some private matter concerning the Chunin exams that will be held in Konoha. Tonight he will come here. What do you think he will ask? She asked looking at him. Probably the results and the names of the ones being promoted? I think that this time I will wait for his actual visit and see for myself instead of ask to some spirits, Naruto answered caressing her head. Master, the new project should be ready by now. Should I tell her to stay at ready in case of need? Veronica said nearing him, Sahara's sand-forming spikes to keep her away. You need to work on your possessiveness, Sahara-chan, Naruto said smiling playfully. As I told you, you are mine, the girl answered with a growl. Yes, I remember that day, you barged in my shop, you glared at me and then said, you are my boyfriend now. Then you just got out slamming the door, he answered. But like that you got the message, she said. Then what's the problem? You practically keep threatening Kanku-chan every time we are in the same room and more than once attacked Temari-chan, the blonde boy asked. Kankuo admitted to find you cute and Temari is starting to say it as well. I can't let those two steal you from me, Sahara answered in defiance. Come on, you know I only like you, the boy said hugging her. But still those two may try something, she answered. May as well share him. It's not like he will go outside the family, Minato muttered sarcastically, rolling his eyes at her. Pervert. The girl answered hitting him with a sand bullet. I have a client now, do you want to stay and watch? Naruto asked. Yes. Sahara answered moving behind the long curtain hiding the small altar where she first saw his body heal. Enter, Naruto said slipping on his hood as his parents moved to flank his sides, Veronica opening the door and following the man. Good morning, Baron Shi-sama. Did you call me? The man, a retired shinobi with an eye patch, said sitting down. Yes, Hosomaru-san. I called you. Do you know why you are here during the day instead of night as I normally do? The boy asked with the cold, monotone voice his alter ego was famous for. I have no idea, I already paid for your services so I don't know why I am here to begin with and sincerely. I find it a waste of time I could spend in a better way, the man said sneering. I discovered that the favor you asked for was more damaging than what I believed. Apparently the tragic love incident you talked about was nothing more than an attempt at having your son impregnate the daughter of the Wind Daimyo so to have a link to the royal family. Plan resulting in the girl's comatose state. You asked me to make sure she could still get pregnant saying that it was the couple dream even if the father didn't accept their relationship, Naruto said with his eyes narrowing. Sure you won't believe the words of her father, right? That man only wanted to use his daughter to further enlarge his wealth by marrying her to some snot-nosed brat of nobility she could never love, the man said, hoping that the boy didn't notice his back going rigid. The boy did, unfortunately. Someone else may believe that, that's true, knowing the man's way of treating the others especially, theories showed in how he is letting Konoha suck up every mission for some reasons, leaving us with barely the means to go on. Unfortunately, for you that is. I was recently called by the daimyo himself for a little job in his palace. The boy said as Veronica moved closer to the man with the two skull-masked parents doing the same. What kind of job? The man said swallowing hard. He was tired of hearing your complaints going in dissonance with what some trusted bystanders said. They say that your son simply tried molesting her, resulting in her running away and fall down the stairs, making her end up in that bed, Naruto said. That's not true. The bastards are trying to discredit me. The man yelled in rage. Screaming is useless since I am in front of you. As I was saying, since they were tired of those opposite versions of the story they tried to call me. I usually don't go door to door offering my services, but I admit that this story intrigued me so I went there. Do you know what happened? The boy asked leaning forward. They filled your head with lies, he said narrowing his eyes. Not exactly, I used my powers to read her soul, meaning that I could see what she felt, saw, thought and even dreamed since the day she was born. And her version of the story was of your son trying to force himself on her. She may have not known it was him. But even while masked it wasn't hard for me to reconnect the mysterious man to that brat of yours. Naruto said with a low growl. That's not true and you know it. Hosomaru roared. No one can lie to me when I do that. A soul can only tell the absolute truth. No matter how dark their intentions are, lies are not of the soul's realm. Then die and feed the worms you so much love. The man said, taking an hidden kunai out of his sleeve to slash open the boy's throat. Don't move, Minato yelled as he acted fast to restrain him, both parents and Veronica holding the man down. That was a mistake, Naruto said with a croaking voice as the cut rapidly healed. What the hell are you? Hosomaru yelled in disbelief. I am a necromancer, I dance with death itself and can freely waltz in and out of its realm as I please without paying for my passing. I can see the dead and play with their destiny. I can manipulate the very same forces of darkness and bend them to my will and create, destroy and change whatever I want in every manner I see fit, killing who I want and calling back who I want without fear of repercussions. If I offer some help to you people is just because I want to be nice and lend a hand, but I don't like when someone stroll here and act as if owning the fucking place. If I want I can even kill every daimyo and install myself as emperor of this damned country with an army of undead and spirits at my back and call. The only reason I don't do that is because I don't know what to do with the whole country. So stop acting tough and accept the truth. You fucked up and you are going to pay the ultimate price for it. Naruto said, growling, oblivious that Sahara was getting aroused at his speech, not helped by the fact that Shukaku herself was loving the bloodlust in his voice. The ultimate price? The man said, paling, trying to get free from the collective hold the three guards had on him. Yes. The wind daimyo is arresting your son as we speak. I managed to wake the girl up and cure the remaining wounds of the attack. Once I told him about your request, the man was of course enraged, but with a little sweat talking I managed to have a concession, Naruto said as even under the darkness of his hood his feral grin was visible in all its terrifying glory. What kind of concession? He asked. He will take the boy's life. But I will take yours, Naruto said, snapping his fingers, making a new entity enter the room. She was a tall woman with long black hair, wearing a simple-looking white dress over her body that was completely covered in bandages, face comprised. Who is that woman? Hosomaru asked, trembling. She is my new experiment. I call her Midoriya. She will keep the organs I will collect fresh by storing them in her body. I have noticed that spare parts to repair my guards are hard to find, so I decided to create a meaning for me to keep the ones at my disposal from decaying, Naruto answered, chuckling at the scared man's expression. Wait, I can pay you again. I can give you whatever you want to just forget this. The man pleaded. Oh, don't worry. You will pay me. With the interests, the boy said, nodding, motioning to Midoriya to come closer. Collect everything you can, Midoriya-chan, but leave out the brain. I want to add a new slimy coon to my collection. I think I will make it orange this time. I like that color, the blonde boy said as the woman removed the bandages from her face. What is she doing? Hosomaru asked. Preparing for the extraction, of course. Repeat after me. Ittadakimasu. Naruto said as the woman's face showed up as being a mass of long tentacles leading to a fanged hole acting as mouth. Ah! The man screamed in terror as he was literally swallowed whole by the woman. Maybe orange will be too bright. Brown perhaps? No, orange. Definitely going to make an orange one this time. Naruto mused, looking at a wide fish tank filled with water where several colorful blobs of slime were slowly swimming aimlessly. You are terrifying when you want to, Sahara said, walking out from the curtain, hugging the boy from behind. It's the fair punishment for an animal ready to do anything to sat his hunger. He won't die. I will use his brain to eternally bind his soul and then turn the whole thing into one of those blobs, floating in the water without possibility of freedom or death. Eventually he will just stop thinking, like the others, Naruto said. And I must scream. Those were the exact words, right? Sahara said. Exactly, Naruto answered. Just remember that you have me. Not everyone is evil in this world. That's true, it's just that living surrounded by death makes you insensible at what it means to be alive, Naruto said, nodding. Then I will remember to you what it means to be alive. Proving both our existences, Sahara said, walking in front of him. You may be my self-declared girlfriend, but I can say that it is worth it, the boy said, smiling. Good to hear that. Things won't change even if you were to refuse, but like this is easier, she answered with a tiny smile, normally reserved only to Naruto. I'll remember that, he said, kissing her forehead. I need to go, otherwise my sisters will use this as an excuse to try and see you, Sahara said, moving towards the door. I won't mind being shared between you three. You all are incredibly cute, Naruto said, grinning. Pervert, she said, closing the door fast to not let him see her blushing. It was in those moments that Shukaku went back into asking for blood, ordering her to kill whoever tried to seduce their man. Sahara's sisters comprised in the hit list. Suna. That night, the shop. I am the Kazekage, I should be able to enter every time I want, not asking for permission like a commoner. The man said, sneering as he neared the entrance, ignoring the mysterious cold mist that usually surrounded the place, further adding to the spooky aura of the shop. Knocking twice, he glared at Veronica as she blocked his entrance. Weapons, she simply said, presenting her outstretched hand, the other holding an empty scroll ready to be used to keep them. TCH. Disgusting freak. The Kazekage muttered in distaste as he removed every weapon on his person. The hidden blade too. We won't give attackers an excuse to fight back this time, the girl said with narrowed eyes, a long blade coming out of her sleeve. Here, take it and shut up, he answered, throwing the little knife at the girl's feet. Welcome to the shop near the underworld. Idiot, Veronica answered, moving to the side, rolling her eyes at the man's actions. Kazekage-sama, it's a pleasure having you here. What can I do for you in this wonderful night? Naruto asked, trying to sound respectful, seething inside at the bastard that kept sending his girlfriend on high-profile missions in hope to have her return injured enough to easily attack her and extract Shukaku. Next week there will be the Chunin exams in Konoha. I have some business I will conduct on the side during the event. I want you to tell me how things will go, he asked. It's not a secret to me that you are planning an invasion with Otto Village aiding you. I have some spies around the village that daily report to me. Your daughter Sahara will play a key role in that as well, am I right? The boy asked, watching as the Kazekage went rigid at that. You dare to spy on me? The man asked, glaring at the boy. On you, on your daughters, on your Anbu, on your Junin, on your Chunin, on your Genin, on your academy sensei, on your merchants, on your guards, on your hookers, on your orphans, on your civilians, on your bartenders, and so on and so forth. I spy on everyone that even remotely breathe and exist in this village. My lifestyle is a dangerous one. I can't let my guard down, not even for an instant, but if you are concerned about me talking, I can assure you that I usually keep my clients' secrets no matter what. Well, I do that until those secrets do not endanger me and mine, of course. The boy answered with a low chuckle. You better. Now then, since you apparently know about that plan, tell me that things will go as I expect, he demanded. I can see some aspects of the future, not influencing it completely, but if you are so interested, which way you want me to use? Divination has many forms. Tarots, books, crystals, mirrors, needles. Even the dead can help in that is, if the dead want to cooperate. The boy asked, rising in hand to count. I don't care, just hurry up and tell me, I will conquer the leaf. The Kazekage said, sneering. Tarots then, my favorite, Naruto said as he rapidly shuffled the cards, positioning them face down on the table. Chose 3 of them while thinking about your question. Those will tell us your future, the boy said. TCH. Party tricks. He muttered while pointing at 3 cards that started floating in front of the boy. No tricks, Kazekage, dark arts. The boy answered while reading the result, smirking under his hood. So, what do you see, oh great Baron Shi? The man asked in sarcasm, uncaring that Veronica was glaring at him in hate or that Kushina seemed ready to rip him in half. I can safely say that everything will go as planned and your ambition to see Konoha invaded will become reality. Sahara will give a pretty big hand in the final outcome. Congratulations. May I suggest an amulet to further increase your luck? Naruto answered, clapping his hands a little with an amused tone, a little tablet of black wood appearing in his hand from inside the wide sleeves of his robe. I don't need that. That garbage is for weaklings that fear death. I will destroy Konoha and show to everyone the greatness of Suna. Suits yourself. I will come to watch the thing unfold from distance. It may be interesting, the other answered, shrugging. Will you use your power to help us? The man asked. Nope, not happening. If someone knows that I can interact with the dead and misunderstand my abilities, you may find yourself in more troubles than that is worth, Naruto answered, shaking his head in the negative. Coward, the Kazekage said, throwing a little sack of money on the table before getting up to leave. Since you have all those spies, What can you tell me about this Naruto boy my daughter Sahara is seeing? He asked. This time I'll answer for free. Don't worry, her friendship with him won't cause you too many problems. You may even benefit from it in the end, the boy answered chuckling. At least the brat is useful. She is easier to control now, more stable, the man answered slamming the door as he left the shop. We need to do something. He will attack Konoha. Innocents may die, Minato said worriedly. Have no fear, I told him he would see the mission being carried on. Not that it will succeed, Naruto answered taking off his hood to show a devious smirk. What do you mean? Kushina asked. I saw the plan starting, but I also saw its complete and utter failure, the blonde boy answered tapping on his desk, making 3 cards light up and jump in the air. Yes. Our dear Kazekage won't be able to see the mission succeed, and the one killing him will also die, Naruto said showing a tarot with a 13 written under the image of a cloaked skeleton holding a scythe. The tarot card of death. He should really have took that amulet, the boy said smirking. You think it will be Sahara the one to kill the Kazekage's killer? Minato asked. With a little help from myself? Of course, can't have the first coming taking away my woman's chance for revenge. I'll be there to be sure everything will play accordingly. Leaving Konoha with the littlest amount possible of casualties if you care so much, but I can't make promises. I am still a villager of Suna. I have to protect my village interests. We will need to have a chat with both the Fire Daimyo and our esteemed Wind Daimyo after this is over. Better talk with Sahara-chan and her sisters tomorrow. Giving them an heads up will prevent them from doing something stupid and or dangerous, Naruto answered closing his eyes in thought. An image of a snake biting a monkey to death briefly flashing in his head, catching his curiosity. Interesting, the boy muttered while moving upstairs towards the bedrooms. That night his dreams were filled with battles, a toad and a monkey fighting against hordes of shadows and sand following a snake's orders. Images of an old helmet being crushed under water and wood that were smelling of death and covering everything, trying to trap and kill the monkey. A brief glimpse of a slug appearing in the distance, as if waiting for something. Why the visions in his dreams were never clear to understand. It was something that really annoyed Naruto. Konoha, day of the exam, village entrance. Well, it is a nice village after all. A little too many trees for my tastes. But I admit it may have some form of beauty depending on who you ask, Naruto said as he walked with the Suna sisters and their Junin sensei Baki. He could clearly feel the happiness of Minato at being back. Kushina and Veronica were just following the group from the shadows, only interested in protecting the blonde boy, ignoring completely the village. Why you came with us? You are not even a shinobi, the man asked. And leave some idiot try to seduce my Sahara-chan? Not happening, the blonde boy answered smirking, the fox plush doll on his head watching everything in disdain. As I said to father, it was either him coming or me not taking part to it, you know what I am talking about, Sahara answered as she got closer to the blonde. Why you told him? He may put everything in jeopardy. Baki answered. We trust him, don't worry, Temari answered. He is a good boy, she then said smiling at the boy. And our favorite toy, Kanku said smirking. Touch him and I will kill you all, Sahara said glaring at her sisters. Try and before I die I will tell him what you were doing last night. And what name you were saying between your moans, Temari whispered in answer. You wouldn't dare, the red-haired girl said. Try me, the other said in challenge. Quit it you two, we can't risk screwing the mission, Naruto said in a reprimanding tone. Come back here, a female voice screamed as a boy with a long scarf came running towards them, hiding behind Naruto in clearly fear of whoever yelled. Please help me, the boy pleaded as a girl. Boy, something with pink hair came into view. Stop hiding and take responsibility, the girl said pointing at him. What have you done to make her angry? Naruto asked. Called her billboard forehead, but she was making fun of my scarf. The boy answered. Listen miss, the Bond boy asked. Haruno Sakura, now hand over the brat so I can punch him, Sakura answered crossing her arms. Run, I will distract her, Naruto said. Thank you, the already sprinting boy yelled in answer. Why you helped him? The pink-haired girl asked. Because I wanted to, that's all. Why are you four here? She then asked. A lot of questions. My girlfriend is here with her team so I came to cheer for her, Naruto answered with Sahara smiling at him. The bimbo? You are kinda cute, can't see why wasting yourself with her, Sakura answered, smirking at the Suna girl's fuming face. smirk that disappeared as sand surrounded her body. Sahara-chan. Please let her go, she hasn't hit A8, you will probably meet her during the exam. Just have patience, Naruto muttered, kissing her cheek. Just because you asked. Mother wants her blood for her words. Shukaku too. Sahara answered, letting the girl go, muttering the last part so only him could hear. Your abilities are interesting, you know? A boy said from the top of a near tree. And you are? Kanku asked, crossing her arms. Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto said in a bored tone, reading his name and date of death inside his soul. So I am famous even in Suna. Can't say I like it, Sasuke said, sighing. More likely an hidden ability of mine. Nice to meet you. I am Naruto. The blonde said, waving at him. Baka. As if Sasuke-kun will waste time talking to you, Sakura said, glaring at him. Are you here for the exams as well? Sasuke asked, completely ignoring the pinkette. Just as a spectator, my girlfriend will take part, Naruto answered. Good luck then, I hope we will fight each other, Sasuke said, jumping down and presenting his hand. A wall of sand appearing between th2. Not a trusting girl. Sorry then, the Uchiha boy said, nodding. What's your team? Temari asked. Me and 2 girls. Sakura is one of them. Unfortunately, Sasuke answered, sighing. Hoping to have you use them to recreate your clan? Naruto asked. Sadly, yes. I decided to train so that one day I will be able to avenge my clan by killing the one responsible. But the village seems worried that I may take too much time and push for me to hurry up. As if getting stronger was as easy as snapping fingers. The raven-haired boy answered with a pained expression. Not a revenge-driven guy then? Naruto asked. Oh, I want to kill him, but I am not so stupid to believe that it will be easy thanks to my name. No more at least. After risking getting killed during a C rank turned A rank mission, I started to re-evaluate my life. Can't let ego blind me. With my eyes it may sound kinda stupid too. The boy answered, turning his eyes red with 2 tomos. I heard that other than Itachi and Makoto Uchiha, every other possessor of the Sharingan was kinda full of himself and overconfident, Kanku said, grinning. Can't argue with that, sadly. I like to think that I am another humble Uchiha, or at least I hope so, Sasuke answered, shrugging. Keep saying that and stay out of trouble, those eyes too have limits, you know? Naruto said, strangely patting the tree Sasuke was on few minutes ago. Who do you think you are? Sakura said in rage, the team of Suna plus guest walking away, ignoring her once more. Shut up, Sakura, he is right. In the past it was that attitude to cost the life of several bloodline users. Just because the Sharingan posse's powerful abilities doesn't make it invincible, Sasuke said, looking intensely the tree the boy touched. Why you defend him? He is not even a shinobi, he has no right to say that, Sakura asked in disbelief. Because he said the truth, and as for not being a shinobi, I fear he doesn't need this exam. Look at this tree, Sasuke answered, pointing at the dead plant. It's dead? But you were there few minutes ago, Sakura said, watching as the former green plant was now dead, empty branches and black-colored bark. Completely rotten, the Uchiha boy said, tapping it, making the whole thing fall down to pieces. A truly strange, terrifying boy, Sasuke muttered as he walked away, Sakura immediately following him. Things will be interesting, can't wait to see what will happen, Naruto muttered, smirking, feeling the spirits of Konoha in their restless state as they too knew of the approaching storm. Gossip had always been the fastest thing in existence, especially when shinobi were the ones to gossip about something, so it was no surprise that the news of Baron Shi momentarily setting shop in Konoha for the duration of the Chunin exam was already well known even before said man could have possibly opened his shop in the village. Ever since the sun set, a continuous stream of visitors had focused its attention on the rundown apartment complex where the first floor had apparently gained the ability to change into a perfect replica of the infamous shop near the underworld in Suna. The truth was that Naruto learned that saving the appearances was fundamental in the maintenance of a good image in the eyes of the customers. That's why he had prepared an exact copy of everything normally inside his shop that he kept sealed in scrolls, so to give the idea that Baron Shi could summon his shop wherever he was from beyond the mortal realm. It was not like he lacked the materials for the shrunken heads, swimming blobs or pictures of screaming faces, since apparently human beings were unable to understand the simple rule of you try to not pay and I turn you into furniture. It was their problem after all, not his. Right now the black-cloaked blonde was waiting for yet another customer to visit him, feeling lucky that he had not to take part to the exam, otherwise he would have as well fell asleep while standing the next day. How many before we can call it a night? The Kyuubi doll asked with a bored voice. 3 more and then finally we will get some sleep, Naruto answered groaning. I don't remember this place being so full of superstitious people, Kushina said giving the boy a little shoulder massage. Yeah, we were also lucky no one linked the plush doll to Naruto and the Kyuubi, Minato said. We were lucky that I managed to stay out of everyone's radar instead. Those Anbu kept following me around like a shadow, Naruto said to correct his father. That's true, they were talking about recovering Konoha's weapon while we were following them. Luckily without the heart batteries installed they couldn't sense us, Kushina said huffing. Okay, they were seeing our son as a weapon instead of an hero. I already admitted my mistake. You and the others were right in abandoning the village, okay? Can we please go on with our lives, or non-lives, now? Minato said groaning. At long last the mighty yellow flash admitted of being a baka, I am elated. Kushina answered in triumph. Cut it off, you too. Luckily I have not the Kyuubi sealed in me, otherwise they would have been certain I was the one they were looking for, Naruto said. While sealed here even their precious Byakugan and Sharingan can't work or influence me. A plush doll has not a chakra coil system for the Hyuga to see and disable nor an actual brawn for the Uchiha to mess with. Until I keep my energy dormant, no one will be able to know that I was the 9-tailed fox they so much hate. Even a sensor-type shinobi won't be able to sense me while literally keeping me in their hands, the doll said. Yeah, I know I am a genius, no need to remember me that, Naruto said in pride. Master Shi, the next customer is ready to enter, Veronica said approaching the table. Let her in, let's hear what she needs, Naruto said covering his face with the hood as a girl with brown hair tied into 2 buns entered the shop, cautiously looking around while following the human doll. Nice to meet you, my dear, welcome to my humble shop, the necromancer said with a little bow of his head, the coldness and monotone voice sending a shiver up her back. The honor is all mine, I am, the girl answered. Higurashi Tenten, I know. People won't trust my ability of clairvoyance if I fail at knowing with who I am speaking at the very least, Baron Shi said letting out a brief chuckle. Yeah, I guess so. Well, some people talked about your ability in predicting the future, so I was wondering. Tenten said looking around. You want me to see what fate has in store for you? The cloaked figure asked curious. Yes, even if I would like you to not calling it fate. I have a teammate kinda enamored with the concept and I am starting to hate the word itself, she answered. My bad, sorry for bringing out that then, but I need to remind you that I can predict one of the innumerable possible futures that are awaiting for you. It will be your choices to determine which one will become reality. If you still want I can tell you what will happen should things continue as they are, the Baron said nodding. I can accept it, I get that should I try to force that particular future to happen in the end the result will be different? She asked. Seeing him nod she closed her eyes to let out a sigh. Some preference in the method you wish me to use? The boy asked. The crystal sphere if you don't mind, Baron Shi-san, Tenten asked. Very well, Naruto said clapping his hands making every candle in the shop die down until only the faint, pearl-white glow of the crystal sphere remained, like a small moon hovering over the table. You can try if you want. You're not the first one to do it, the necromancer said with an amused tone finally surfacing. Oh, I didn't mean to, the girl said nervously. Go on, I don't mind, he said motioning her with an hand, watching as the girl moved her hands as to dispel an illusion. Kai. Focusing as much energy as she could the girl tried to release the genjutsu and/or technique she believed was in the room, getting nothing as result. Solid crystal cut in a perfectly spherical shape, no lights, no smoke, no mirrors and of course no jutsu. But feel free to not believe and just treat me like a counselor, I am just here to please and help, Baron Shi said moving his hands up and shrugging. Okay, how does this work? Tenten asked pointing at the sphere, a little embarrassment showing on her face. She was not one to believe in this kind of things and was feeling a little silly in being there at all. Focus on what you need to know, no need to tell me directly, just think about your question and focus on the core of the sphere. I will do the rest. The boy's voice returned cold and emotionless as he was speaking, the crystal shining a little brighter as to attract the girl's attention. Okay, she muttered letting out a long breath before focusing on her question, a shadow of sort appearing in the middle of the sphere few seconds later. Good, the Chunin exam is what is giving you more doubts, I see. Since it's your first time I won't ask for payment, but this is the only time I will do this. Should you return I will pretend my payment, he said, surprising the girl that nodded in thanks. Mirrors. Nice trick, you are an ingenious girl, I am impressed, she said, nodding. How did you? Sorry, Tenten asked before falling silent at how stupid her question must have sounded. Don't worry, yes, a forest, must be the forest of death I presume. For one like me, it almost feels like home, but let's see further, the boy said, chuckling again. The forest of death feeling like home. This guy must be completely out of it, she thought in worry. From here onward everything becomes foggy. I can only give you this advice. Sounds can be devastating in more ways than one, messing with your senses and showing you things that are not what they are in reality, he said as the light in the crystal ball died down while the candles were lighting up again. Sounds? I guess I will pay attention then. Any suggestions? Tenten asked. Stay focused, trust your instinct and make your hands and accuracy stay steady and sharp. You will go far, the boy answered, getting up. Thank you, Baron Shi-san, she said, bowing. A lucky charm? Just in case you may need one, he asked. I don't usually believe in those things. Fine, I want one. The girl answered, before blushing and presenting her hand. Perfect, 50 ryus, my dear, Baron Shi said, giving her a polished tablet of black wood with tiny inscriptions on it. Expensive, she muttered, paying him. But working all the same, keep it over your heart. You will thank me after the end of the exam, Naruto answered. Be as you said, good night, Tenten answered, shrugging, leaving the shop with Veronica closely following her. After the girl left, Naruto took off his hood, sat back at his desk and tapped the crystal ball several times with a serious expression. Talk, I know you are there, he said to the sphere. Baron Shi-sama? A female voice asked tentatively. What do you need, O spirit of the underworld? The boy asked solemnly. I am Higurashi Pai-ten. I am here. I need your help, Baron Shi-sama. The woman asked pleadingly. You need my help regarding your daughter? I already gave her too many details about her future. Any more and she may unconsciously risk altering it, the boy answered. I know. It's about the invasion. You saw it in her. She will, the voice said. She will die during the invasion, yes. I saw the date of her death coincide with the start of the attack, Naruto said, nodding. Can you stop that from happening? Can you save my poor daughter's life? Pai-ten asked with a sobbing voice. You are asking me a lot, spirit of the underworld. I will be forced to directly intervene on things. You lot should know that I don't like doing that, he answered. Please, she is so young, she still have to achieve her true potential. Her father would be devastated should she die too. The woman pleaded. Naruto, Kushina whispered. It's your choice, son. Minato said. Fine. I will do as you ask, but. The blonde said, stopping the spirit from thanking him. But, she asked. But after that your daughter's soul will literally belong to me. I won't enslave her, force her into anything or torture her, mind you. But after this she will owe her whole existence to me and die only when I will say so. This is not negotiable, Naruto answered. What? Pai-ten said in horror. It's your payment for my services. I am not doing this for my enjoyment, but as a matter of fact, when she will die I will take her soul and stop it from leaving her body so to heal her. Contrary to an undead it will be like her heart just stopped for few seconds. This if I am fast enough to do it. Otherwise she will just be an undead like Veronica or my parents. In truth I voluntarily turned them so to have those two being immortal since you can't kill someone that is already dead. But for Tenten I can make an exception and let her stay alive, the boy calmly answered. And, should she choose to love someone? The woman asked. She can love whoever she wants. I already have a girlfriend so I am not so desperate as to force her into loving me. For all I care she can do whatever she wants with her life as long as she doesn't turn against me as an enemy. Her soul being mine will just be a consequence of her escaping death, not a curse of servitude. Okay. I think I can accept that, just, don't take liberties with her, please. Pai-ten asked. I am a necromancer, not a pig, Naruto answered. Thank you, Baron Shi-sama. I will be forever in your debt. The voice said as the presence left the sphere. Requiescat in pace, Pai-ten. Naruto answered, saluting the woman and putting his hood back on. Master Shi, should I let the new customer in? Veronica asked, worried. Yes. Let Sasuke in, it won't take long, he answered, sensing the familiar presence behind the door. Baron Shi-san, can I come in? The boy asked. Please enter, Uchiha-san. What can I do for you? The Necromancer asked. It won't take long. I just need some suggestions about the exam, Sasuke asked, sitting down. Since every other genin of Konoha seemed eager to come here, for that reason I went a little ahead for some of you and already checked. Especially in your case, Naruto said, nodding. My case? Why? The Uchiha boy asked, curious. Let's just say that a vision I recently had may interest you too. A vision? And it will interest me? Sasuke asked. Nothing too serious, let's just say that being bitten by a snake in your case may have fastidious side effects that may become long-lasting, if not treated accordingly. For this reason I prepared something special, just for you. The cloaked figure said, moving to a small cabinet, taking out a long gray scarf that he then presented to the boy. Snake bites. Thank you. I guess I will pay attention. And the scarf? The boy asked. Wear it during the whole exam and after, never take it off no matter what, you will feel when it won't be necessary anymore, Baron Shi said to the puzzled boy. Really? Sounds a little. He trailed off, uncertain in how to answer. Stupid? I guess it may appear like that, but trust me, the seals and protections on this will help you more than any armor would. No matter what promises comes from a poisoned mouth, each syllable will still be as mortal as the poison itself, the other answered. And that would mean? Sasuke asked, wearing the scarf, strangely feeling protected by it. You want revenge, but at the same time you know that making your desire cloud your judgment won't help you going far. Never let people mess with your ideals, nor blind you with false promises of power and help. Nothing comes for free and you know it. No prize is worth your soul, the Necromancer answered. Why the ones like you can't give a simple answer like, don't do that but do this? Trying to decipher your words is painful to the extreme, Sasuke said, moaning. We oracles tried that once or twice in the past, and still people didn't understand what to do. In the end we opted for those cryptic words and inwardly laugh at your, I get it now, expression when our words finally get some sense for you. Naruto answered, chuckling darkly. I don't find it funny, the Uchiha boy muttered. I do instead, I find it really amusing. It's 150 ryus for the scarf, by the way. Oh, 100, the boy yelled. 150, Naruto corrected. You can give it back if you don't want it, he then said. No, I mean. Okay, I'll take the scarf. Money-sucking bastard. Sasuke said, growling while paying him and stomping out of the store immediately after. Have a nice day, Naruto said, smirking at the soft growl he got in answer. Like that he will learn to not come here at this hour of the night, Kyuubi said. Both him and Tenten were worried. Can't blame them, I was nervous too when studying under Samedi and forced to take one of his exams. Sadistic bastard, Naruto answered, shivering at the memory. The last one, master. Please be patient, we have almost done, Veronica said, bowing. Fine, let him in, Naruto said, groaning. Few seconds later a man with a blank mask barged inside before marching towards the table. Baron Shi, as per orders of Danzo-sama you will be escorted to our base to answer our questions. The root member said in a monotone voice. What kind of questions? He asked, bored. You will tell us everything you know about Suna and its Kazekage. Should your answer being satisfactory you will be set free, the masked shinobi answered. And what if I say no? Naruto asked, amused. That is not an option, the man said, taking a fighting stance. I thought so, Veronica? Naruto asked as the man's arms and legs were rapidly removed by the girl's weapons in a shower of blood. Thank you, my dear, I don't know what I would do without you, the boy said, smiling, ignoring the howls of pain of the rude shinobi. It's a pleasure serving you, master, Veronica said, bowing. Midoriya-chan, please eat him but leave out the head, I will shrink it tomorrow in the morning. I am too sleepy now to do a good job. The blonde ordered to the bandaged woman who nodded in answer. Master, there is a seal on his tongue, Veronica said, checking the body for hidden traps. Let me check his body for more before collecting his organs. I will copy whatever they used on him for later study, Minato said, getting closer. As you wish, I will be in my bed if you need me, Naruto said, moving towards his bed while the four undead analyzed the intruder. Gotta work on a way to keep those out of my store. I will add few exception to the candles tomorrow, but now I need to sleep, the boy mumbled between yawns. Konoha, the next day, day of the exam, Shinobi Academy. I must to stop here, I am not taking part so I can't enter here, Naruto said hugging Sahara. I know, but I don't like it at all. The girl answered. Don't worry, I know you three will be awesome. I will follow you all from distance, the boy said. Baron Shi-sama will use Kurora as medium. She will tell him everything that happened during the exam. If you need she will summon him, Shukaku said from the seal. Okay, she muttered, letting the boy go with evident difficulty. Be strong and don't kill everyone. I know you will pass this. I trust you, Naruto said kissing her. I will make you proud, Sahara said nodding. We all will, Temari said hugging him. Yeah, we will celebrate our victory once back at home, Kankuo said adding herself to the hug, her hand stealthy moving down to pinch his ass playfully. Hands down, now, Sahara roared in anger. Just go you three and be good. The blonde boy said smirking, waving at the girls as they entered the academy. What can I do for you, Anbu-san? He then asked without looking behind. I was wondering if you could accompany me somewhere, the man with the eagle mask asked gently. I am a kid, yet two of you are here to take me? Isn't it too much? Naruto asked curious. It's more like a precaution to protect you more than a capture, the woman with the cat mask said. I have nothing to hide nor I am a shinobi, otherwise I would be in there now, the boy answered. You have high reserves compared to a civilian, you know? Eagle asked. Family trait, I presume. I didn't go to the academy back in Suna nor I am registered as a soldier either, the blonde answered. Be as you said, please follow us, it won't take long, Kat said taking a step forward, raising her hands to show her lack of ill intent. I will, but just so you know, should you try something, you will regret it immediately after, Naruto said as the woman's hand grabbed his shoulder, the three disappearing in a puff of smoke. Hokage Tower, now. Kushina growled as she sprinted towards the tall construction. I will hold you responsible should something happen to Master Shi, Minato-san. Veronica said glaring at the man. Then be fast punishing me, because if something happened to Naruto I doubt Kushina will leave something of me for you to torture, Minato answered sighing. That's right, bellowed the undead redhead. Konoha, Hokage Tower, few minutes later. Here he is, Hokage-sama. The eagle Anbu said pushing the boy inside a wide room. Thank you, we will take care of the rest from here on, you can go, Hiruzen said nodding. Hi, the man answered before leaving. What can I do for you, Hokage-sama? Naruto asked bowing. I just need you to clarify some doubts for me. Do you mind helping me? The old man asked with a gentle smile. As long as it is between my abilities I can't see why not, the boy answered smiling. Go. Hiruzen commanded as three Anbu encircled the boy, encasing him in a blue barrier. What the? Naruto exclaimed. Jiraiya? It's your turn now, the old Hokage asked as a man with long white hair moved out from the shadows. Stay still Gaki, it will take an instant, the man said as his hand moved inside the barrier, lifting the boy's shirt to look at his belly. It should be somewhere here, like it was with her. Jiraiya muttered touching the boy's belly with an hand coated in chakra. There is nothing? Nothing? It can't be. The toad sage said moving more chakra in the area, eyes wide as the results were negative. I was called here to be molested? Naruto asked worried. Sensei, that is not here. Jiraiya said watching the old man. Can you check somewhere else? Hiruzen asked. I tried, I got no answer from the pulses, the other answered. Hiyashi, did you see anything? Hiruzen asked to the wall. The illusion fading to show the shinobi clan heads sitting in their seats in the council room, intently looking at the boy. Nothing, Hokage-sama, there is nothing extra inside his coils. A man with long brown hair and pale, pupil-less eyes said shaking his head. I see, Hiruzen muttered, but the Hyuga clan head said, his chakra feels cold, is like, I can see that his chakra is there but at the same time it's like the energy itself is dead somehow. His body can still generate chakra but without the normal vitality one can expect from the energy, he then explained. What? Hiruzen said surprised. His smell too is strange, a woman with a feral appearance said raising her hand. What do you mean, Sume? Hiruzen asked. His smell is thin, I don't know how to describe it, it's like he could barely leave behind a trace, the Inuzuka matriarch answered uncertain. She and Hiyashi-san are basically describing him as the nearest thing to a living corpse one can find, even if alive he seems to lack whatever makes someone alive, to begin with. and man with sunglasses said with a plain tone. Yeah, what Shibi is saying, and whatever it is it's making me feel nervous since he entered here, Sume added nodding. Did something happen while you were growing up, boy? Hiruzen asked in apprehension. Could it be that someone extracted the Kyuubi and then used the Edo Tensei to send here the boy to mock us? Orochimaru maybe? The old man thought. If something happened? Naruto asked curious, barely hiding his amusement at their surprise in not seeing the Kyuubi inside him and at the results of the modifications Samadhi did to him. Yes, do you remember losing something? Hiruzen asked leaning forward. Well, I remember that when I was 6 the man that raised me as his son tried to kill me. Naruto said, telling the lie that he and his parents had prepared just in case, using every trick Minato taught him to stop the others from noticing while keeping an eye on Inoichi Yamanaka, remembering his father's warnings about his clan's mental attacks. And then? Said Yamanaka clan head asked narrowing his eyes. Then nothing. I think I smelled something burning and a flash of orange fur. Maybe, then I woke up in Suna. Baron Shi found me and gave me some shelter until I found a way to live on my own. The boy answered. But I know that since that day I always felt cold, not even when walking in the middle of the desert. I always feel cold, he then added. I see. Sorry for trapping you. We believed you were someone that was kidnapped from our village. I hope you won't hold this against us, Hiruzen said. Don't worry, I would have answered even without the barrier though. I am not a shinobi, Naruto said nodding. Ah, yes. Drop it, please. The Hokage motioned to the Anbu that rapidly moved away dispelling the barrier. Can I go now? I would like to eat something before trying to sneak a peek at the exam. My girlfriend is taking part, the boy asked bowing. Why not? Since we tried to harass you, Hiruzen said smiling at Jiraiya's fuming face. I think we can repay you with a little help. Jiraiya here will accompany you to eat something and then escorting you to where we will hold the second part of the exam once we know if there will be need to use the tower, Hiruzen then said. Let's go, Gaki. I'll offer you something, Jiraiya said patting the boy's shoulder and escorting him out. What do you think? Hiruzen asked to the others. He seems to hide something, probably he knows what happened but was afraid to tell us, Inoichi said. He lied? Hiyashi asked. Not exactly, he was withholding some details. While he wasn't telling lies at the same time he didn't tell the whole truth. The Mind Walker answered. Did you try to enter his mind? Hiruzen asked. I wanted to, but since his chakra was apparently different from normal I preferred to play safe and stay outside. I didn't want to risk losing myself in a mind one could describe as dead-like, Inoichi answered. That is another strange thing. Any suggestion as to why his chakra feels dead? The Hokage asked. Mendoku's. Probably as a side effect of having the Kyuubi extracted, a man answered lazily. Please tell us what you think is the reason, Shikaku, Shibi Aburame asked. Technically once the Biju is removed the vessel dies from the shock and the strain on his mind, chakra coils and body, if I have to say. Probably Minato added few fail-safes to try and stop the extraction from happening. Those must have saved the boy's life at the cost of his fire or life force, leaving him with a cold soul inside, he answered. It doesn't make sense nor appears possible, Hiruzen said shaking his head. He says that he always feels cold. Is possible for an human to live without a soul? What if by trying to kill him that man released the Kyuubi and destroyed part of Naruto-san's soul? It may make the boy an empty shell unable to feel the warmth of being alive, Shusa Akamichi said. We are starting to talk like philosophers here. I say it's just the shock of the extraction. He doesn't smell like a corpse nor he feels like one. He is just a poor kid that almost died when he was young. We should let him be and go on with his life. If he wasn't trained like a shinobi it means that he is a simple civilian, high reserves or not we can't harass him just because he used to contain the fox. He is probably still scared from the knowledge that he had that beast inside. He didn't want us to antagonize him for that. That's why he wasn't telling the whole thing. Let's just concede him a normal life and once the Kyuubi reappears we will worry. It's not Naruto-san's problem anymore, Sume said glaring at the others. I guess you are right. We will keep him under watch just to be sure nothing happens to him. If I have to say, having him living in Suna is a little sad. His parents were from here after all, Hiruzen said sighing. That is also true. A civilian with low Junin reserves. And a truly strange condition the fox left him. It's a pity he doesn't want to become a shinobi, Hiyashi said sighing as well, others nodding at his words. What about Baron Shi? Any information? Hiruzen asked. Nothing, Hokage-sama. The branch member I sent there with the excuse of a meeting didn't manage to see through his hood. Kumiko actually reported the man chuckling as she entered, saying that our clan's pretty eyes won't work on him since his friends protects him. Hiyashi answered, shaking his head. The Byakugan couldn't see his chakra? That's a bad news. Sume? The old man asked worriedly. Nothing at all. I went to the apartment complex with my best dogs and trackers, but whatever that man did there were absolutely no traces, nothing. No smells, no chakra remains. The whole place was exactly as it was 10 years ago, completely abandoned as even the dust had not been removed. The Inuzuka matriarch answered in disbelief. Shibi? The Hokage tried asking to the Aburame clan head. It was unsuccessful. Hokage-sama, the bugs me and my clan left in the area near the shop had been returned this morning in a box. Someone managed to completely mummify them, the man answered. You can mummify a bug? Shuza asked, curious. Apparently he could. I instead tried to read his mind from outside his shop after asking for a meeting. I struck once he opened the door. Inoichi said, falling silent before the end. And? Hiruzen asked. And my wife found me this morning tied up in our flower shop, unconscious, the Yamanaka clan head answered, blushing. It's true that you were also naked? Shuza asked, smirking, making the man blush redder. A note said that he had found the attack funny, that's why he limited his punishment to just stick that cactus up my rectum, the blonde man answered, looking down. I wasn't aware of it being a cactus. I just saw a pot sprouting from your back, Shibi said, sounding surprised instead of monotone. You know? Inoichi asked. We all know, we found a picture showing it on our doorstep. The message near it said that he could have easily killed you. But he was in a good mood, so for this time only he spared you. Any other attack will result in the death of the attacker. Hiruzen answered as the Yamanaka man started sobbing in humiliation. The truth was that Inoichi's attack, that Naruto already knew was coming thanks to Minato guarding outside, coincided with Sahara being under the blonde boy's desk. You can't get mad when your girlfriend is sucking you off no matter how much you try, and that game of dirty secretary was what stopped Ino from turning orphan. Konoha, Ichiraku ramen stand, 1 hour later. You sure eat a lot. Jiraiya said in wonder, looking how fast the empty bowls were piling in front of the boy. Never eat some this good. The boy answered between mouthfuls, the waitress Ayame and her father struggling to keep up with him. Thank you, my boy, feel free to tell your friends about us. More people coming here is always well accepted, Tucci answered, smiling. Jiraiya-sama? Hokage-sama says that the candidates are nearing the forest of death. If the boy needs to be in the tower you better move. An Anbu with a boar mask said, appearing near them. Ah, perfect. Let's go, Naruto. If your girlfriend is there she may like a good luck hug, the man said, patting on the blonde's head. Okay, but I will come back later for more, he answered, smirking. We will be here waiting, Ayame said, nodding. I want Sum, not far away. Kushina was whining from the shadow as the 3 guards followed the duo. Honey, we are undead now, we can't eat that anymore, Minato said, trying to console the sobbing woman. Can't Naru-chan make my stomach work again? Just for one day? She asked pleadingly. We will ask him later, I promise, her husband answered. Okay, she said, sniffing loudly. I can't work with those two. I am a professional bodyguard, not a babysitter. Veronica muttered angrily, shaking her head in displeasure. Forest of Death, main entrance. Good, now that everyone has a scroll, get ready. The second part of the exam will start soon. A woman with a trench and apparently nothing underneath except for the shoes and the shortest skirt ever made was talking to a group of genin in front of the entrance to the massive forest. Who the hell are you? She asked, watching Jiraiya arriving with Naruto in tow. A late supporter for one of the candidates, Anko, Jiraiya answered cheerfully. Why he was permitted access? He is not with a team, Anko asked with narrowed eyes. He is Naruto, Kushina's son. He barely survived an attack that almost killed him before joining Suna at 6, the toad sage muttered in her ear. The Kyuubi vessel? She muttered in surprise. It was not a secret that the supposed Jinchuriki disappeared the night of the sealing. Anko was one of the really few knowing the vessel's identity and his mother. The boy's father, curiously, was unknown to her, so she just presumed he was some bastard that escaped his responsibilities, making the hidden Minato feel as if slapped by someone. Not anymore. I'll explain later, Jiraiya answered, ending the conversation. You better, since you are not in the group. I take that you are a civilian? The woman asked. Who? Hey, isn't it offensive to force a kunoichi to go around undressed? The boy asked back. I like to feel free. Why? Do you like what you see? Anko answered, smirking, getting closer to him and kneeling so to show that she really was wearing something under the coat, in the form of a fishnet suit that not even pretended to be covering her. I have a girlfriend already, I am sorry, the boy answered, patting her shoulder with a smile on his face. You sure? At your age the boys simply love some extra curves, she answered, smirking at Sahara's furious expression, kissing the blonde's forehead to further anger her. Just a question. How do you stop the coat from completely show off your breast? It just covers enough to not being completely opened, Naruto asked. I focus chakra on my nipples, like that the trench stays in position no matter what, and it even helps as chakra control exercise. Anko answered, pleasured at his blush, knowing that the image of her naked body under the coat was now forever burned in his mind. I will have her blood. Sahara roared, moving to crush the woman. For once Temari or Kankuo weren't stopping her. My bad then, bimbo, because the second part starts, now. Anko said as the gates flew open, forcing the Suna trio to run inside, not before Naruto diffused the female Biju vessel with a deep kiss, tongue included. You are playing with the fire, Anko, Jiraiya said as he accompanied Naruto inside using a side entrance. It was still a lot of fun. The woman answered, giving the thumbs up to the man. Hoi, Anko, mind something to eat? I have some time before reaching the tower. A woman with a dress apparently made out of bandages asked, nearing her, her fiery red eyes locking on Anko, feeling that something was off about her. Really? Yay, Night-chan is offering, Anko said happily. I didn't mean to. Fine. This time I will pay for you too. Kurenai said, sighing. Awesome. I like how the day is going. I got to scare some brats, harass another and be generally cool. I only need Orochimaru to die a terrible death and everything will be perfect. The scantily dressed woman said happily. I know, it was a good day for me too. My whole team passed the written test and entered the forest. I can only hope they will continue like this. It will finally show to everyone how good I am as a sensei, Kurenai answered, nodding, feeling giddy enough to move an arm around her friend's shoulders, before frowning in doubt. Anko? She asked. What's wrong? Anko answered. That thing. You know. The seal. Wasn't it on your left shoulder? The red-eyed woman asked. No, that is that hickey you gave me last week during your birthday, that shitty seal is. Here? The other answered, looking where the cursed seal her former sensei left on her shoulder was supposed to be. I am no medic, but there the skin seems perfectly clean. Kurenai said, curious. Wait, it should be here. Anko said in panic, completely removing her coat to see better. Both women not even caring that few Junin and Anbu near them lost consciousness at her showing off her body. Anko. The seal is not there anymore, did you finally remove it? Kurenai asked, surprised. But how? I didn't do anything different from what I usually do. The woman said disbelievingly, dressing back with a confused expression. Baron Shi. Kurenai muttered. What does this have to do with that weirdo? The woman asked. Last night I went to his shop to ask my fortune about my team in this exam. She answered, blushing. And? I still can't see what this has to do with my seal disappearing, Anko said, crossing her arms. Before leaving he told me that, a friend of mine will finally lose some weight. I thought he was referring to Hana and her diet, she answered. Well, I always saw that thing as a weight, that's for sure, Anko said, looking at the forest of death. What's wrong? Kurenai asked. Nothing, I just have a question in mind, but I know that later I will have my answer, the other answered, shrugging. I am pretty sure the seal was there before nearing the forest. You are hiding something, brat. She thought with narrowed eyes before joining her friend for a snack. Forest of death, halfway towards the tower. A pity we can't tree jump, it will take a lot less time, Jiraiya said, sighing, oblivious that the boy near him was totally engrossed in his own thoughts. A soul fragment, nice trick, maybe a good alternative to soul jumping when in need to come back from death in case something happened to the main body. This if you are not a necromancer to begin with. It's just a pity that this Orochimaru used such a little spark of his spirit to do it. I would have liked to extract some more info from it, but a little bit more of knowledge as a medic is still good. At least he did some side research on the human body, still disgusting, but at least I have some new notions without the whole vivisection, torturing humans weight on my conscience. Can't wait to get the whole knowledge from the main source. He is here after all. The boy thought, smirking evilly, looking at the forest entrance before being grabbed by Jiraiya. Are we going to use that smoke trick of you ninjas? It's kind of funny going around like that after all. Naruto asked curiously. Smoke trick? You mean the shunshin? Yeah, we'll use that. Beats walking there, the old man answered. I just hope that Mitarashi woman won't notice the whole extraction too soon. It will be a pain to explain how I have made what no one else apparently could. He then thought, sighing as the two disappeared. In the meantime, Forest of Death. Team 7 of Konoha, Sasuke, Sakura, Ino, Yamanaka. Something is wrong here. I can't say why, but my instinct is going crazy. A blonde girl, Ino, said, looking around in worry. I don't feel at ease either. Do you see something? Sasuke asked to Sakura. Nothing, Sasuke-kun, the girl answered. Me neither, said a man with a grass hite from behind Sasuke, making the boy jump several feet high in surprise. Oofufufufu. Nervous, aren't we? The man answered, chuckling. Who are you? Ino demanded. Someone here to make an offer to our dear Uchiha heir. The man answered, flicking out an overly long tongue. Sorry, I am straight as an arrow. Sasuke answered, raising his hands in a peaceful manner. It was not the first time he got that kind of offer. Actually, I was offering you power, not the honor of my company. The man hissed out, gaining a tick mark on his forehead. Power? Do tell, do I have to play find the kunai if I say, yes? Sasuke said, taking a ready stance. I am starting to find annoying the fact that people consider me a pedophile, the Kusa-nin answered, flashing killing intent, paralyzing the three kids. It's about how you near people to propose, you flirt too much when talking, Ino said, shivering. It's the way I talk, idiot. The man answered, sprinting forward, kicking the Yamanaka girl away before focusing on Sasuke. Oofufufu. Yes, you are indeed strong. I can see so much potential in you, Sasuke-kun. He said, smiling evilly while exchanging few blows with the boy. Thank you, that's why I train hard. Sasuke answered, jumping away, managing to tie up the man with some ninja wire. Kaden, Sasuke said, inhaling deeply. Too slow, the Kusa-nin said as his body crumbled into mud, the real one appearing behind Sasuke to bite his neck. Guwa. To the man's surprise, a lightning discharge erupted from the scarf, covering his body and shooting him away in a ball of fire. Sasuke-kun, Sakura yelled worriedly. Grab Ino and run, we need to reach the tower. Sasuke screamed, pocketing the scroll that fell from the man's pocket. Hi. Shaking wildly, the pink-haired girl helped Ino to her feet as the three started running on a mad dash. We need to run. That man may return at any moment, Ino said, panting heavily, feeling few ribs cracked from the man's kick. Sakura-chan, a boy wearing thighs, yelled, nearing them. Lee, over here, Sasuke said, helping Ino to stand. What happened? Tenten asked. We were attacked by some strange guy, Tenten. He did something and we couldn't move, Sakura said, trembling. Killing intent, to paralyze someone means that he is strong. I can see his chakra, he is still alive and really dangerous. A boy with long brown hair and pale eyes said in disdain. Can you help us? We won't be able to reach the tower otherwise, Sasuke asked. Yosh, I shall protect Sakura-chan with my life. Rock Lee said, giving them a thumbs up, carrying Ino on his shoulders. Lee, we shouldn't, Tenten said. We are all Konoha shinobi, we need to help each other. Lee answered, running towards the tower. Whatever, let's follow him, otherwise he will do something stupid and make us fail, the Hyuga boy said, following his teammate. Neji, wait, Tenten yelled as she and the rest of Team 7 started running as well. Thanks, Sasuke said, just because we too have our scrolls, otherwise we would have attacked you, the bun-haired girl answered. That way. There is an ambush in front of us, we will evade them. Neji muttered, making the group evade a team from sound that was awaiting them. They will keep running until reaching the tower without stops. With the mysterious man. As the fire kept burning, the man finally regained some form of movement from the paralyzing effect of the defenses on the scarf. Damn him, what was that? He thought angrily while opening his mouth. From inside the throat, two hands grabbed the sides of the mouth, immediately followed by a new body that exited from the man's mouth with an heave-o cry. The face of the Kusa-nin changed into a deadly pale one with slithered, snake-like eyes. forcing me to change body. Whoever created that scarf knew what he was doing. If not for that technique I would have been dead, the revealed snake sage said, watching his old body burn to ashes. I couldn't give him the curse seal. But it's only a minor setback, there is still time. Oofufufufu, the man then said, chuckling darkly, disappearing before any Anbu could investigate on his true identity. Konoha had still some issues with Orochimaru of the Sannin after all. Sometime later, tower in the middle of the Forest of Death, arena in the main hall. Once every survived team reached the tower, the various genin were assembled in the main hall where they were informed of the incoming set of preliminary fights that would further reduce their number so to have a proper group for the exam's finals. Naruto-kun, look, we did it, Kankuo said happily, pouncing on the boy for an hug once they reached him on the balcony over the arena. Hands down or I'll kill you, Sahara said, peeling her sister off her boyfriend. Sharing is caring, Kankuo answered, sticking out her tongue. Not in my book, the Ichibi vessel replied. Naruto-san, you are here too, Sasuke said, nearing the blonde. Yup, your Hokage was gentle enough to have Jiraiya-san accompany me here, the boy answered. A Sannin? Why him of all the people? Kiba Inuzuka asked, nearing the group as well, he and his dog Akamaru stopping abruptly once feeling the boy's presence. What the hell are you? Kiba asked, tensing up. Your chakra is cold, commoner. Why is that? Neji asked, narrowing his eyes. The Gaki has a special condition. Let's call it an illness, and leave it at that, genin. Jiraiya said, glaring back at the boy. I can defend myself, Jiraiya-san. Thank you, Naruto said, nearing the Hyuga. What do you want? Neji asked, sneering. You are the one who believe in fate, don't you? Nice to meet you, Naruto asked, trying to touch the boy, the Hyuga grabbing his hand in defense before gasping and jumping back. Painful? I can do better than that if you keep being such a rude boy. The blonde said, reaching for him again. Stay away, Neji said, attacking the boy with his clan Juken style. A wall of sand formed from Sahara's gourd answered by moving to protect Naruto. And you keep your hands off of him or mother will have your blood. Let's go, Naruto. Those weaklings are not worthy of your time, Sahara said coldly, using her sand to drive the blonde near her. I too shall help you, Master Shi said. You may need an extra guard. Like this Jiraiya-san will be free to follow his duties as shinobi of Konoha, Veronica said, appearing near the Suna group, surprising even Naruto. The truth? She was tired to hear Kushina's whines about being unable to eat ramen, so she left those two outside the tower. The added bonus was being able to easily defend the blonde. Well, thank you, I guess. Better go, Sensei is calling me. Call me if you need to go back, Gaki. Jiraiya said, moving towards Hiruzen. What did you do to the Hyuga? Kankuo asked, whispering as the four of them walked away with Veronica scanning the room for possible attacks. I used a little bit of pain inducement. I know how to interact with the human body's pain receptors, so I made the ones in that stuck-up brat's arm momentarily light up, causing him an instant of pain, Naruto answered. Ingenious, Sahara commented. I can torture people all I want for hours and hours with that. I only need to touch them and they will feel the worst pain ever conceived. You have no idea of how funny it can be with the right subjects, the blonde said, chuckling, making the other three girls with him cringe. Back with the genin teams from Konoha. Are you okay, Neji? Shikamaru Nara asked. I am now. I think that I just experienced how it feels to put my arm in a meat grinder, the Hyuga boy answered, clenching his fist few times to regain some sensitivity. With just a touch? Kiba asked, surprised. The boy is different. I am both curious and relieved about him not taking part to the exam, Sasuke said, looking at the Suna group. Relieved? Why? Choji Akamichi asked, curious. I don't know, it's just that I feel unease whenever he is near. He is not normal, that's for sure, the Uchiha boy answered. Tell it to Akamaru, he started shivering the moment we got too close to him, Kiba said, looking at his dog companion. Animal still looking worriedly towards the blonde boy. You keep worrying, I need to go down there and fight, Tenten said as her name got called to fight against an Oto Kunoichi called Tsuchi Kin. In the arena, Tenten Higurashi vs Tsuchi Kin fight. Both contestants ready? Hayate the proctor asked at both girls. Hi, the two answered, nodding. Remember, the first to knock out or kill the other is the winner. If I say stop, both will stop no matter what the two of you are doing, and wait for Hokage-sama and the judges to decide who will pass, the man then said before jumping away, giving start to the fight. Ready to lose? Kin asked smirking. Not to you, Tenten said, charging forward with a scroll in her hand. A bite to her finger and a swift movement unsealing a wave of weapons from a scroll, launching the hail of steel towards the Auto girl. Gak, barely managing to evade, Kin rushed forward with a pair of senbon in each hand that she threw at the bun-haired girl. Useless, Tenten answered, deflecting them, a kunai in her hands ready to be thrown. You sure? Kin said, smirking. A little movement of her hand and a subtle tingling was heard in the arena. Guh. The Konoha girl muttered, clenching her head, her vision blurring and waving, making 3 Kin-suchi appear before her. Sound-based genjutsu. Strong enough to impede movement and disorient the victim, Kin said victoriously, calmly walking towards the other until they were face to face. Surrender now would be really nice, you know? She then said, pressing a kunai on Tenten's throat. Sound? The girl asked between clenched teeth. Surprised? You didn't know that sounds too could be dangerous, I almost pity your ingenuity. Kin answered, chuckling. Sounds can be devastating in more ways than one, messing with your senses and showing you things that are not what they are in reality. Stay focused, trust your instinct and make your hands and accuracy stay steady and sharp, Baron Shi's words echoed in the girl's head. Taking a deep breath, she tried to use Kin's kunai to determine which was the real one. As the tip moved closer, making the real steel drew some blood, she attacked, her punch connecting with the girl's jaw, sending her to the floor. As the kunoichi of Konoha pounced on the one from Otto, 2 distinct thunk noises were heard, one from Tenten hitting Kin's head with the back of her kunai and the other from the Otto kunoichi driving the blade in the other's chest. Tenten, Guy yelled in worry at the scene, surprised to see the girl getting up and calmly watching the kunai sprouting from her chest. I am fine, she answered, jabbing the blade out. With a little tearing noise, a small tablet of wood fell from under her blouse, a deep hole in its middle making its inscriptions illegible. Grabbing the amulet, she fixed her eyes on it intently, completely ignoring Hayate declaring her the winner while her mind was slowly registering how close she had been at dying in that fight. Keep it over your heart. Just in case, she muttered, walking back towards her team. Are you okay, Tenten-chan? Lee asked, worried. Yes. It was close, but I am alive, she answered, still looking at the piece of wood that saved her. Why you had that thing inside your clothes? Neji asked. I went to Baron Shi's shop. After his counseling he sold me this, telling me to keep it over my heart. It worked, Tenten answered with a weak chuckle, her hands still trembling. Baron Shi? I see, I will thank him myself after this is over, Guy said, nodding. With Hiruzen and Jiraiya, did you hear? Apparently someone knew what would have happened, Hiruzen said, watching as Sakura confronted Ino in the arena. Yeah, that's what is making me nervous. When someone start predicting things is always a bad news for my tastes. Jiraiya answered as the 2 girls knocked each other out at the same time. Poor Kakashi, he told me that Sakura was a lost cause, but I didn't know the situation was that bad, the Toad Sage said, shaking his head as the 2 genin were moved out. You are still thinking about that prophecy? Hiruzen asked after a long silence. After Naruto's disappearance I decided to look out for him. My initial plan was to move my spy network in a way to permit me to follow it from Konoha to train him. If things were different I would have been the one to train the boy for this exam, for the finals at the very least, before continuing from there. Jiraiya answered with a long sigh. I want you to question Baron Shi personally, the Hokage asked as Sasuke walked down to fight Kiba and Orochimaru. Me? Why? The sage asked. I fear that man has something to do with the Kyuubi extraction. Otherwise why Suna of all the places? Wave is also close to Konoha and so are other places like Tanzakugai. But Naruto ended up there for Baron Shi to find, Hiruzen said gravely. You mean, he wanted the fox? Jiraiya asked in shock. By now we would have had news about a rampaging Biju, but at the same time your spies would have confirmed if Suna or someone else had gotten hold of it, so maybe the beast went into hiding. Naruto instead seems to have a different chakra that was unlocked after the release. Maybe he is after it? I don't know, I only know that this man is showing too much interest in him, going so far as to send one of his personal guards to protect the boy. No. I fear this is more than mere affection. There must be something behind and we can't let Minato's son suffer for it, Hiruzen said gravely. Are you sure of what you say, sensei? The other asked, surprised. No, but I just can't let him go away like this. We need to keep Naruto in Konoha and as far away as possible from Suna. Especially from Baron Shi. Kami knows what kind of plans they may have for him, the old man said sighing. Even by trapping the boy? Keeping him caged somewhere against his will? Jiraiya asked. I hope we will not be forced to go that far, but until we don't know what's going on between him and Suna we can't risk losing him, the Hokage said. I don't like this, sensei. He already suffered from this, we can't just ask him more sacrifices. Jiraiya said in dismay. It's our duty to protect Konoha. If Naruto has some secret abilities he unlocked by losing the fox we need to have him come back. Or seal away whatever it is if he don't want to join us. He is a part of this village. No matter where he grew up, Hiruzen answered. I'll go talk to that man, but just so you know. Just because it will be my mission to eventually lock away his chakra and powers. If ever he has some, it doesn't mean that I will like doing that to Naruto, Jiraiya answered. I trust you're being a shinobi of Konoha. I know you will do what's best for the boy, the other answered. Unknown to them Veronica had actually heard everything with her enhanced hearing, discreetly reporting to Naruto and the Suna sisters every word. He dare decide your fate? Sahara whispered with a growl. Seal away everything in case you don't want to join Konoha. Will he really go that far? Kankuo asked with narrowed eyes. You heard him, sister. It's our duty to protect Konoha. He sees Naruto as an asset that was stolen from his village. In his mind if he can't use him then no one should, Temari answered with a cold tone. The old fool thinks that I will let them screw with my head all they want. Luckily they don't know that I am Baron Shi. Nor that Kurama is sealed in my plush toy. To them it's just a memento I keep from a bad experience, Naruto answered calmly. Then it's decided. I will use that man's blood to feed Shukaku. If he so much want a Biju then I will make him see one up close, Sahara said releasing bloodlust in waves. No, I already saw his future and my involvement in it. I told you three what will happen. Respect the plan and we will all obtain what we want, Naruto said shaking his head. I can't wait, Sahara answered glaring at the Hokage, the old man narrowing his eyes in answer at her stare. In the arena, Sasuke vs Kiba. TCH. It will take more to defeat me, Teme. Kiba said as Orochimaru jumped near him, the Inuzuka boy showing elongated fangs and claws as he glared at his adversary. You know, between you and Ino, I am happy to have her as a teammate, otherwise I know for certain that one of us would have been dead before now. Your cocky attitude is absolutely annoying. Sasuke answered back, Sharingan ablaze and fixed on the other. Me, cocky? You are the worst between us. You even started wearing a scarf to be the cool guy, do you have any shame? Kiba answered jumping on him, hands moving in a slashing motion to tear flesh away. Actually, I need this for protection, and it worked. Sasuke said smirking, using his clan bloodline to dodge each swipe, punching Kiba's stomach once a particularly fierce attack left his side open. Guh! The Inuzuka boy groaned as he was launched back. From behind him Orochimaru jumped forward in a surprised attack, forcing Sasuke to roll to the side to evade. I heard about that. A sicko tried to give you an hickey and now everyone seems ready to burst from worrying. Sucks to be you. Kiba said as he and the little dog swallowed a small red pill. What's that for? Sasuke asked. For this human-beast clone technique, Kiba yelled, turning Orochimaru in a copy of him. One is already ugly, but two? I think I will be sick. Sasuke taunted smirking. You won't laugh now. Gatsuga. Both Inuzukas jumped high in the air, spinning on themselves wildly to form a huge drill-like tornado pointed at the Uchiha. Fuck. Barely dodging the attack Sasuke found part of his arm getting damaged by the wind generated by the Just You. It's not over yet. Kiba's voice resounded as the drill bounced on the floor and walls to point again towards his target. Kaden. Hosenka no Jutsu. Fire release. Phoenix Sage fire technique. Inhaling deeply Sasuke launched a barrage of fireballs towards Kiba. Using his chakra to move them he tried to have the boy miss him in favor of dodging. Useless. Kiba yelled as he and the dog separated in two different tornadoes before converging on the Uchiha boy. Now, acting fast Sasuke threw at his feet a little sphere, making a dense smoke cover his body as the two attacks reached him, lifting an even bigger cloud of smoke at the impact. Rookie of the year or not, I still kicked his ass. Kiba said triumphantly, watching how Sasuke was face down immobile. RRRRRRGH. Akamaru's growl had the boy turning to watch his back just in time to see the first of Sasuke's punch reaching him. Throwing himself down to evade the little dog's jump, the Uchiha boy followed with an elbow to the stomach and a quick jab to the chin. Sorry, but after being almost killed by Haku, I have enough experience to say that you are nothing compared to him when it comes to speed. Sasuke said, intercepting Akamaru to throw him at Kiba. As the both fell to the floor, he jumped high, landing with his knee on the Inuzuka's stomach. Winner of the fight, Sasuke Uchiha, Hayate called out after confirming Kiba's unconsciousness. That scarf was not only for show. Sasuke said, smirking, his double disappearing in a puff. To show said accessory. I was told to never get it away and so I did, excluding baths. Since it was an emergency I decided to took it off since I knew that it could have had enough of my smell to pass for me once hanged. The smoke bomb helped messing with your nose enough to not notice the difference. It was useless against Akamaru, but luckily you're being so damn cocky had you forget to confirm it was really me. Who's laughing now? Sasuke said triumphantly, wearing back the scarf and returning to his place on the balcony. Balcony, Suna Group. I told you, Sasuke, my prediction are always true, Naruto said in pride. It's always surprising to see what you predict become true, Temari said, nodding. Next fight, Sabaku no Temari vs Shikamaru Nara. Hayate called out. Against a woman? Mendoku's. Can I forfeit? Shikamaru asked with a tired tone. I won't tell that to your mother, Shika. Sorry, the boy's sensei, Asuma said, grabbing the boy by the collar to drag him down in the arena, dropping him in front of Hayate before walking away. You are not making me eager to fight. Being forced like that is not a good premise, Temari said, smirking, using her fan to glide down from the railing. Just so you know, I am doing this only because my mother will bash my skull in otherwise, Shikamaru answered, groaning. Both ready? The proctor asked. Hi, Temari answered. Hi, Shikamaru answered with fake enthusiasm. Good enough for me, Hajime. The man called out, starting the fight. Do you think she will win? Naras are famous for being good strategists, Naruto asked. You should know by now, Temari can be devastating when she wants, Kankuo answered, smirking. Kamaitachi number jutsu. Temari called out, summoning a giant storm using her fan. Shit, Shikamaru cursed as the attack slammed him against the wall, apparently unconscious. Fainted already? Temari taunted with a smirk. No answer came from the shinobi of Konoha. Then I guess I won, she said, moving her fan on her shoulder. I don't think so, Shikamaru said, smirking, rapidly dropping on his knee and connecting his shadow to Temari's one. What? She gasped, feeling herself immobilized. Cage main completed. It was troublesome, you know? Not having other shadows to use really made this difficult. Luckily you like to taunt. Otherwise you wouldn't have come close enough for me to use my jutsu, Shikamaru answered, groaning in pain. And you think I will forfeit? Temari countered, glaring at him, feeling in hand of shadows reaching for her neck. I am still training in this part of the jutsu, but right now it will be more than enough, the boy answered, gripping her throat tightly. Fuck you, Temari answered with a strained voice. So, still resisting? Shikamaru asked, bored, clenching his teeth as his reserves were lowering at an alarming rate. I forfeit, Temari finally said, smirking. If you admit that you are a pansy, she then said challengingly. It won't work, making me lose concentration, he answered. Really? So even if I insult your precious clouds you won't get angry? She asked teasingly, satisfied that the hand momentarily lost its grip. What do you mean? He asked with narrowed eyes. Oh, nothing, it's just, clouds are pretty stupid, why wasting time watching them? She touched a sore spot. Shika hates when someone insults his hobby, Shoji said, shaking his head. I have you know that cloud watching is a wonderful hobby. Clouds are pure fluffy mass of whiteness. Perfect in every way. May it be rain or just some shadows, and in hot day they will be there to help you relax. Shikamaru answered, glaring at her. Ooh, I see what kind of man you are. I bet you even find shogi funny and interesting, don't you? Temari said, making the others gasp. Now you are saying too much. Shogi is a great game. Shikamaru answered. Yeah, like watching grass grow, the girl said, smirking, triumphantly noting that the shadows were trembling. That's it, I will knock you out and. Shikamaru said, growling, only for his technique being disrupted by a now charging Temari. That's why I say that you women are troublesome, because you really are. The Nara heir had the time to say groaning before an iron fan was slammed on his face, launching out of the arena. Winner of the fight. Sabaku no Temari. Hayate announced to the others. See? Collecting info on every genin of Konoha was a good idea. At least we know how to act against each one of them, Naruto said smiling. I admit I was a little unsure of that, but I am happy that I was wrong, Temari said hugging the blonde boy. Hands down. Now, Sahara growled. No, he is as mine as he is yours. I am tired of your threats. Or you share or you kill me. The pony-tailed girl answered glaring at her. I will. Sahara started saying before her name was called. Will Sabaku no Sahara and Dosu Kinuta come here for the next fight? The proctor called out. This is not over yet, Sahara hissed out as she moved to fight. The fight won't last long, not with how angry she is now, Naruto said sighing. Her problem, not mine, Temari said hooking her arms around his and resting her head on his shoulder. Hajime, Hayate yelled, jumping away. So, ready to lose, pretty girl? Dosu said with an unseen smirk under his bandaged face. Die, Sahara roared launching a wave of sand towards him, watching as it went dispersed by the other's bracelets. I can manipulate sounds, brat. You can't touch me, Dosu said in smug pride. We'll see. She muttered crossing her arms, more sand moving to attack Dosu. Pretty boring tactic, Dosu commented sprinting forward, using his sound attack to destroy each wave of sand until face to face with the tomboyish girl, grabbing her face with one hand. Now you are mine, Dosu said cackling. Now you are dead, the girl answered as her body turned to sand. Asuna Bushin, the Otto Nin said surprised as a cocoon of sand surrounded him. Never lose sight of the enemy, Sabaku no Q. Sahara said clenching her hand, the cocoon constricting the boy. I would surrender now if I were you. I promised to my boyfriend I won't have killed without a reason. I only need to win, the Suna girl said glaring at her sisters as the two were feeling up her man. Fuck you, Dosu answered with a strained voice. Insults won't help, Sahara answered with a raised eyebrow. I will get free. Using my bracelets, the other said glaring at her. It may be a good idea not trying that, Sahara answered. Scared, Then I will show you how dangerous I can be. Dosu said sneering, focusing all his chakra in his bracelets. A subtle strop, resounding under the sand and Dosu started howling in pain. Releasing the sand Sahara showed that the boy's arm had been crushed. I thought that by clogging the holes the sound won't have been able to come out, leaving me free to just tear your arms to pieces. I was right, Sahara said with a sneer. Winner of the fight. Sabaku no Sahara. Hayate said making the girl sprint to free her boyfriend from the dirty hands of her sisters. Inspired by her fight Shino Aburame of Konoha will do the same to the other Otto shinobi Zaku Abumi using his insects to close the boy's arms, with the difference that his exploded because unable to release the air inside them to attack. I have to remember to add a failsafe to prevent that. Can't have soldiers explode because of that. The once again masked Orochimaru thought watching the two fights, taking notes. Kankuo was another easy fight as the one she was facing showed the ability to stretch his body, catching her head in an headlock and threatening to snap her neck. The puppet mistress answered by sprouting 4 extra arms, showing that she switched with her puppet before the start. Her puppet then moved to snap the boy's 4 limbs and ending the fight with a stream of screams of pain and curses as a background to her victory. I am so gonna turn that bastard in a slime, Naruto said glaring at the now quadriplegic Otto Nen. Who? See? He loves me, that's why he is so overprotective. Kankuo cooed hugging him tightly. Whatever, let's go, there is no more need for us to be here, Sahara said dragging away Naruto as Choji passed flying near them thanks to a well-placed Konoha Senpu from Rock Lee. Shouldn't we stay and watch? Naruto asked. He is right, you should wait here until the end, Bucky said nearing them. Fine, 2 of the 3 sisters and Naruto said sighing. Sahara simply glared at the veil-wearing Junin in silence. Later that night, shop near the underworld. A sharp knocking at the door alerted Naruto of the arrival of a new customer. Enter, the boy said with his infamous cold monotone voice. You and I need to talk, Baron Shi-san, Jiraiya said with narrowed eyes. Yes, I know, your request, if we want to call it like that, was pretty clear even in its simplicity. I want the truth. Humans always seek the truth, not a simple one mind you, but the one with the capital T. So tell me, Jiraiya, Toad Sage and one of the legendary Sannin, student of the Sandaime Hokage. What is the truth you so much want from me? I can see the conflict inside you and I know for certain that some truths you want are also some that you don't want to hear, Baron Shi said chuckling darkly. His fingers crossed in front of his face as his elbows rested on the desk. Big words for someone selling smoke to impressionable people, Jiraiya said glaring at him. The two skull-masked Anbu-like guards at his side taking a step forward in a threatening way. He could also feel Veronica getting closer and hear the sound of a long blade being unsheathed. Selling smoke? That's how you describe my job. Kind of funny hearing that from someone obsessed by a prophecy made by some old toads, Baron Shi said chuckling again, highly amused by the old sage's surprised expression. What? How do you know about that? Jiraiya asked with wide eyes, oblivious that it was Minato himself to tell Naruto about the prophecy. I know enough. They told you that a student of yours would have changed the whole world, either destroying the shinobi way of life or changing it into an unrecognizable way. The cloaked entity said walking away from the desk, his robes long enough to cover his feet and making it look like he was floating instead of walking. Silently blessing the fact that he knew how to actually do an untraceable hench to appear taller, Naruto leaned closer to Jiraiya. His voice dropped to a barely audible whisper. I know you fear that your supposed pupil will end up destroying your precious shinobi life. That's why you ditched Minato, right? And now you are hoping to maneuver his son, Naruto, into changing the shinobi way instead, am I right? Baron Shi asked. Shut up, Jiraiya screamed jumping back. Sad. Really, really sad. Prophecies are certainly set on stone, but someone with enough brain can easily twist its meaning. There is no need to become obsessed over the apparent message of one, the Baron said sighing sadly. You don't know what you are talking about, Jiraiya said glaring at him. I know a lot of people that did the same mistake you are doing now and choose to obsess over some cryptic words. Without looking more deeply, the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will born as the 7th month dies and will have the power he knows not. That idiot in particular got pretty desperate because of it, and yet his prophecy did not even give a clear answer about the winner. What a fool. Baron Shi said sighing again, taking a little chalk to draw a wide circle on the floor, a pentacle inside it and several strange markings on each tip of the star. What are you talking about? The Toad Sage asked curious, watching as the man positioned several candles around the circle. Inside Jokovis oracles, something happened several millenniums ago and still source of laughs, he answered. What are you doing? The old man then asked. I decided to help you. You won't listen to reason unless your main doubts won't get removed. Enter in this circle thinking inside your heart that here resides my universe, Baron Shi said pointing at the circle he was now standing in. TCH. So be it, Jiraiya muttered stepping inside. As he did the room rapidly melted, leaving the Toad Sage floating in a sea of stars. As he turned he saw the sun shining like a majestic ball of fire and under his feet a blue sphere he somehow knew was the very same planet he lived in. Jiraiya, if I am not mistaken, you came to me to find some answers. Baron Shi's disembodied voice echoed in the void around the sage. This is not an illusion. That's true. I need to know the real meaning of the prophecy, and Naruto's possible involvement in it. The old man answered, trying to find the source of the voice. The elder Toad predicted the birth of the possible destroyer of the ninja world. There is no changing in that, the oracle's words are immutable. The voice said darkly. But then, the Toad Sage tried saying before being interrupted. By the way, every matter has more than a single aspect. By weaving we cross a thread with another joining the weft to the warp and obtaining what we call cloth. If we then pull the threads out of the weft we will undo what we have interwoven without obtaining anything different. The cloth was undone without being cut or burned. And like this, without destroying and without recreating, the destroyer of the world can become the great king of creation. Why don't you try to see this like that? Creating something new sometimes requires destroying what was there before. The voice answered simply. What's the meaning of that? What can I do to avert absolute destruction? Is really Naruto involved in all this? Was his losing the Kyuubi part of the prophecy too? Jiraiya asked looking around frantically, fear resounding in his voice. You will find the answer inside you, a younger voice said as a young boy walked towards Jiraiya, a cold light in his cerulean eyes. Naruto, Jiraiya said with wide eyes. Maybe yes, or maybe not. Or maybe not yet. If you want an happy ending, that depends, of course, on where you stop your story. Pay attention and chose. You or the village. What's easy or what's right? Will you do what your duty demands or will you follow your instinct and ignore your orders? The choice is only yours to make, Naruto said coldly, shifting into the form of Baron Shi. Wait, you are Naruto? Or you are just messing with my head? Jiraiya asked with a trembling voice. Now go. Baron Shi said, pushing him away and making him fall in an endless void surrounded by darkness. Ah! Screaming in absolute terror, Jiraiya sat up, looking around with wide eyes and panting to see that he was in the bed of his room at the village's inn, cold sweat rolling down his forehead while he hid his face in his heavily trembling hands, trying to recompose himself. A dream? He asked at the empty room, his heart still beating fast. It seemed so real. Was Naruto really there? Or was that man trying to confuse me? He asked to the room, unable to understand if everything he saw was real or not. Konoha, shop near the underworld. In the meantime, he should be awake by now, Naruto said, scratching his eyes tiredly. Are you sure it was a good idea showing yourself like that? The Kyuubi doll asked from the table. I needed to add some shock to the whole thing, Kurama. Otherwise the message won't have reached his brain. He needs to choose between his ideals and Konoha. If he continues like this, he will one day find himself in a situation that will result in his death. Should he remain so blindly loyal to Konoha, then I will need to remove him. I can't risk having this world spiraling into chaos because people like him can't accept the changes this world needs to undertake. The boy answered, getting up, cradling the plush doll to his chest and moving towards the bedroom. You know that after this month there will be the finals, and the start of the invasion, Kurama said, sighing. Yes, I know. After that event will be over, the real battle for the shinobi world's future will start. Stopping Orochimaru from branding Sasuke was only the first step. My visions will show us what we need to do every time there will be need for us to intervene. We only need to wait and be ready, the boy answered, closing his eyes and sighing. There will be a war? The doll asked. Probably, is too soon to say, but I saw the moon covered by a red eye resembling the Sharingan and a huge shadow marching over the world, destroying everything on its path. I don't know what it means, but I know for certain that it is a bad omen. A warning of what will happen if we fail, Naruto answered, getting on his bed. Those visions are not a blessing, but a curse, Kurama said sadly. I know. But if I don't do something with this knowledge, then no one will, the blonde answered, falling fast asleep with Kushina mounting guard near him with a sad expression on her face. She was only hoping that for just one night some vision won't disturb her son, even knowing that his was an ability he could just turn off.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.